Hello there, everybody. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I've done this correctly. Oh, there we are. Ooh, this is so cool. Oh my God. How are you all liking this, by the way? Shout outs to Stack Design on the incredible looking scenery. All of these assets, all of the layout, it was all done by one person. It looks out of this world good. So if you have a second, make sure you thank Ra for all of his hard work. Sneepyy, we've got a very big event that's kicking off right now, don't we?
We do, and I'm very excited for it.
I'm very excited as well. If you all don't really know what's going on here or understand exactly what it is we're watching today, this is the organization known as RaC Champs. This is our tournament all screwed up. Here, I can even pull up the intro again. If you didn't see it the first time, look at this intro. This is crazy.
Courtesy of Stack Design, of course.
It is the highest quality asset you'll ever see in your entire life, or highest resolution asset. This is going to be a dope endeavor here we got for all of you today. So to give you all a general idea of the breakdown of this structure, it's undergone a couple different changes in the recent past. We kind of had to adapt to circumstances, some of them out of our control, some of them in our control. Regardless, we've got what we think is a really, really great structure for you all. I'm going to actually pull us down. Let me see. Is it one? Yes. I'm going to pull up the bracket structure. So originally this was going to be a double elimination tournament. But now what we're going to do is we have five contestants for you. We've got Onetabloid, we got Muckemannen, IzzyBeira, Sneepyy, and Scottobozo all competing for a $1,000+ prize pool. You can see the structure right here. They're all going to play each other once, and we're going to take the two people with the best combined scores at the very, very end of all this, and those two are going to be our finalists. They're going to be competing in grand finals together. This way, we still have a very wide range of matches. We still have plenty of people playing, plenty of people getting the chance to strut their stuff and show you the fruits of all their labor. How much we've got 3 categories on deck. We've got Ratchet and Clank 1 all gold bolts. We've got Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction 10 gold bolts, and Ratchet and Clank Size Matters 5 titanium bolts. So we've got 1 OG Trilogy category, we've got 1 Future category, and we've got 1 Mobile category. So it's not just going to be as simple as being an OG Trilogy runner or being a Future runner. We gotta have a little bit of everybody learning something here. So Sneepyy, can you give us a little bit of info about the contestants? Would you let me clear this out of the way. Oh my God, I love that. I'm gonna pull up their info cards. If you want to let us know who we got today, what we're in for.
Absolutely. So our contestants have been hard at work ever since the trailer for this event dropped. They've been practicing and learning the 3 categories that we have provided for them. And tonight, or today, to morning, wherever you might be, we have for you Muckemannen and IzzyBeira.
Yeah.
The first game is RaC 1, all gold bolts.
We decided they had no preference on which game they were doing first. So we decided by random number generator, and when it landed on RaC 1, they both groaned. So this is gonna be quite the show. Hoping to see some high quality gameplay, but more importantly than that, we're hoping to see a close race. So we've got the runners in the wings. Let me pull this out of here. Let me pull up their game feeds. Let's see how that's looking. I think it's this. Yeah. So Mucka seems like he's ready to go. Izzy's just getting a little bit of macaroni practice in here now. Yeah, it seems like
warm up.
Gentlemen, if you'd like to give me the go ahead, we got them in the call right here. If you want to unmute your mics, let us know if you're both ready. What we can do for you.
Let's fire this off.
Sure. So we got Mucka. Izzy, are you feeling good? You ready to go?
Yep, I'm the same.
All right. If you gentlemen would do me a favor and mute your mics once again. But yeah, all right, let's get cracking here. Sneepyy, if you'd like to give the countdown.
Yes, thank you. Looks like both contestants are on the same screen, so we'll be kicking things off in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
All right.
We're off to the races here. This is amazing. I'm so, like, this is so crazy. Okay, so we're gonna ideally balance a nice variety of informative commentary as well as commentary that we think you all would enjoy watching. As of right now, we've got Muckamannen's game feed up. We're gonna be swapping to whoever is in the lead at any one given time. Right now, they're just collecting bolts. You gotta make sure that you're farmed up on bolts here as you're going through this. Doing things called macaroni. Sippy, can you take me through the history of macaronis, where the name came from, and why we call it that?
Absolutely, my man. So, macaronis actually came from a really old, really legendary New Game Plus speedrunner called Ticeman. Now, when we first discovered Ticeman, he did this movement tech, and he wasn't really in contact with us, and we had no idea how to replicate this magical, time-saving, pre-helipack movement. But we kept trying at it. Eventually, I stumbled upon this magical formula of tilting your stick in the right way and side flipping at the right time. And I didn't know what to call it. On a whim, I called it macaronis. And you know what? The name just stuck. And the name happened to be quite appropriate because Ratchet looks like a little macaroni when he's side flipping. So that's the story.
Yeah, so
Real, not fake.
As you can see, they just took care of the river skip right there. Yeah, let me know if the game audio is still a little bit loud. I'm trying to balance it in real time. But yeah, they basically skipped the entirety of Novalis by doing that simple river skip, as J. Hobbs once put it. Yeah, we got Izzy clearing up Novalis here real quick, or as some runners call it, Novalis. I mean, those runners are incorrect, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, essentially what you're looking for, the idea of this category. So obviously this is all gold bolts. So they're going to be collecting all 40 gold bolts as they're going through the game. But of course this is Ratchet 1, and anybody who's ever played Ratchet 1 casually knows that this game has quite a lot of bolt management that goes into it as well. There's not a whole lot of bolts to collect throughout the game. There's like massive inflation in the other Ratchet games, and so it's a lot easier to get bolts. But in this game, it's kind of a struggle just to get a few thousand early on. So, you know, Izzy over here hyper striking that helicopter and getting really good rolls on the RNG. That helicopter can drop anywhere from like 450 to 600 plus bolts, something like that.
1100 at this point is really good.
Yeah, 1100 is fantastic, and I think Mucka has to pick up a few extra enemies because he didn't get the exact same great RNG here. 1,000. Yeah, 1,000's the first metric though, and Izzy uses that 1,000 to buy the helipack, and Izzy is off to the races here. And with Mucka shortly behind. Yeah, so coming up here is the first gold bolt of the event. The first, we're trying to bear the namesake here of all screwed up, right?
The first screw all screwed up.
Yeah. Sippy, can you take me through a little bit of what the momentum in this game is like? What kind of movement are these runners attempting to do? What are we looking out for here?
Well, most of the movement conservation tricks come in the form of neutral long jumps. It's very simple. Literally, you just make sure your stick is in the neutral position and you press R1 and X at the same time, and somehow that keeps building up your speed as you're long jumping.
Yeah, Izzy nailing this little train skip sequence right here. You gotta make sure that you're baiting the guy into firing a missile. There's one variant of this strat that some runners will do, but Izzy takes the race safe strat of just aggroing this guy. You'll see Mucka doing the exact same strat right here. You aggro him, make him punt or swing his gun, and then walk backwards into the train trigger as the missile comes to hit you, and you can move during the cutscene as long as the missile can hit you here.
Normally, Ratchet is completely frozen in that cutscene. However, if you get hit, you can move, which saves a little bit of time. As the cutscene ends, you're right at the end, and you just go on to the next part of the level.
Yeah, I'd also like to give a quick shout out to Twitch sanctioned gambling. If you want to bet on either Mucka or Izzy to win, I assume this is the set. I don't know if we're doing it game by game, but we'll figure that part out later. But yeah, so again, we've got the way that this structure works. Whoever wins this game or rather, whoever loses this game, they get to pick the next game. So with Ratchet 1 off the table after this, you have to win 2 games out of 3 in order to win the set. So let's say, for example, well, whoever wins one of the... Izzy's in the lead right now, so let's assume that for a second that Izzy would just win purely based on the fact that Izzy's ahead right now and they both played the exact same rate. Well, that would mean that Mukka then gets to pick, as the loser of the first game would pick a second game. And then if it goes to a third game, it's pretty obvious. Nobody has to decide. They just do the third game. They're setting up Jankpot right now, which is a very interesting strategy. Sneepyy, if you'd like to go into the nitty-gritty of Jankpot and what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so you may have noticed that both runners have loaded the game after picking up the gold bolt after under the bridge. That is to set up this trick called Jankpot. Now, nobody knows how this really works, what the trick behind it is in the game code. All we know that you have to load the game, kill one of the dog enemies, but don't pick up any bolts from that enemy. And somehow, if you break these crates right here at this gold bolt location in a very specific way, you just get tons of really easy, really fast bolts, which you need throughout the run in order to buy weapons and the next planets.
Yeah, and an important thing to note here is that as you're doing Jankpot, the trick ends the instant you collect a bolt. So, like, as soon as you break a crate, when you collect any of the bolts that are within that crate, the trick ends. And not only do you not get the super juiced up bolts anymore, you also, for the next, like, several crates in a row, I think even, like, across a couple of planets, you break, like, some crates and you get, like, 1 or 2 bolts from each crate. It's, like, it's chump change. So, realistically, now we're looking at bolt counts. Izzy actually has a very good bolt count. He had 4.3 thousand before buying the swing shot, which is really, really great. That's like, you know, Izzy's in a great spot. Mukka's a little under with only 3.9, but that's not the biggest deal in the world. That may lead to some time loss later. But realistically, a lot of this game is bolt management anyway, and there's a lot of spots where you can pick up some extra bolts. That's a big part of this for runners is understanding where they can pick up their spare bolts to minimize time loss. And so yeah, we got Izzy here on Eudora. Eudora is a pretty simple planet here. So Izzy's gonna grab the infobot and then come back over here to pick up the bolt. This is all you got to do. This is all you got to do. You got to pick up the bolt, and then you're gonna see Izzy's out of here after that. So,
as they say, the beginning is at the end in this planet.
Yeah, the beginning is indeed at the end. Yeah, that's a... oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
You can literally just skip right to the ending, get the infobot for the next planet, and the single gold bolt that's on this planet is right there also, right where you pick up the infobot. So, very short planet. On to the next one.
Yeah, Izzy about a full planet ahead here, although, again, it is Eudora, which is not the longest planet. So, you know, there's just because Izzy has a lead right now, that does not mean that Mukka is out of it. The race is still very young. Both of these runners, I believe their current PBs are somewhere over the 1 hour mark. According to their player cards, actually, Mukka qualified with a 130 something, but I think he's dropped that relatively significantly since then. So I believe they have relatively similar PBs here, so this could end up being a ripper of a race, especially as the game starts to get harder.
It's anyone's game.
It really is. And you see, this is... Izzy's actually doing this part of Blarg first. The cool thing about Blarg is that there's 3 different paths you can take, and you will have to eventually go across all of them. Or I guess, well, technically that's not 100% true. There's one path that Izzy's taking here that's going to lead into a different path. So I assume Izzy's actually going to revisit Blarg later, although I could be wrong about that. The optimal strat, you do everything on Blarg in one go, although it is very tricky.
Mukka with the ginormous testicles,
yeah,
actually trying to do Blarg in one cycle here, and he pulls it off. He actually pulls up this really hard strat on the first go. Would you look at that?
This strat is extremely obnoxious. Although Mukka is not out of it here, he's got to make sure he lands on the platform so he can actually grab the gold bolt. You don't want to die here. That's a really bad time loss. So yeah, so Izzy here is actually doing a clip out of bounds. This is a very... It's a crazy trick because it looks so simple, and it really is. Izzy just turned the camera around and side flipped out of bounds. It was that simple. Izzy grabbing the info bot that you get on the other end of Blarg, the third path, the path we haven't seen yet. So Izzy essentially just skipping an entire path here, which is super dope. You always love seeing them reloading at the same time. That's always so funny. But of course, Izzy choosing not to do the Blarg revisit skip. So Izzy will have to come back to Blarg eventually to grab the other gold bolt. Which means that route difference-wise is actually going to make this a little bit tougher to tell who's directly in the lead as this race begins to develop more and more. But here we're going to see Izzy going for, looks like Izzy's actually going for it. So Izzy's going for ILJ strats here, not Cineflip strats. This is like the second hardest version of the strat. The first hardest is very, very difficult and is usually only done when you get to the absolute top levels of this game. But Izzy taking a very comfortable strat here, just going for the ILJ down here, is going to hit the elevator by going out of bounds, and is going to be pretty much exactly where he needs to be. He's going to have to take a couple of out of bounds to get all around the map, but that's not the hard part at all. So he's going to be here at the bouncer, spend those 4,000 bolts that he earned, and is going to continue over here. You're going to see he's going out of bounds. Sneepyy, you want to go into how crazy, what kind of stuff we're going to be seeing in this level? This is definitely one of the dopest levels in the run, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Thankfully, the developers have managed to make the geometry in Wilgar solid in a lot of places where it really shouldn't be. And we use that to our advantage pretty much everywhere. We go out of bounds, we clip through ceilings, we grab gold bolts in very unintentional ways here.
Yeah, so you can see Izzy's actually doing a strat here. This is a relatively recent addition to the category. I mean, as far as recent goes. But yeah, Izzy, I believe this was found by Tab. Izzy's going to come out here, wrench swing to line up Ratchet, and then do this little out of bounds right here to void out and die and death abuse back to where he needs to be. So, you know, he's going to activate the cutscene for the boobs lady, or boobs percent lady, but we don't need to do boobs percent. We don't need a side flip or do this hover bike race. So he's going to continue on up here. He's going to go back out of bounds. It's really like the sickest part of this category is that you barely ever spend any time actually in the bounds of the game. So you can see Izzy's found his way on over to where the hover bike race section is going to, you know, obviously doesn't have a hover bike, but is going to use Ratchet's momentum to collect this gold bolt that's just out of bounds over here.
Yes, coincidentally, that gold bolt, which you normally take a underwater tunnel through, is actually right next to the hoverboard section, which you can get to as Ratchet, and it's solid, and you can use that to just get on through here.
And we got Mucka over here now, finally joining us over on Rilgar. Once again, it doesn't, listen, it's hard to say exactly how far ahead Izzy is at this exact moment, because, again, Izzy will have to do that revisit on Blarg. But Mucka's making it happen. Mucka, I believe, is a little bit more recent to this game, so doesn't have as much experience with infinite long jumps. That's what ILJ stands for. It's you can see Ratchet, like, you know, zombie hovering over this little section right here. So this planet and the one that Izzy's on currently, Umbrus, this is going to be a little challenging for both of these runners, I would think. I don't know exactly how experienced both of them are with infinite long jumps, but there's a lot of infinite long jumps that happen across these two planets. Izzy is also in the process of currently picking up some extra bolts. The next bolt marker is 2,000 bolts that you need to have by the end of Battalia, the next planet. So Izzy picking up a couple things here. We got Ghost Ratchet on deck. Sneepyy, tell us a little bit about Ghost Ratchet.
My pleasure. Ghost Ratchet is done when you just swing shot out of the mud. The mud is normally an instant death. You can't get out of the mud. However, you can with your swing shot. And now, as soon as you hit the mud, the game puts you in a death state, and in a death state, you can jump through walls. However, when you swing shot out of it, you can retain your movement, so you get the best of both worlds, and we definitely use that heavily to our advantage.
Yeah, you can see the collision on these walls is just totally ignored. You can just pass in and out of them. And the reason, some people wonder, well, why can you pass through walls but Ratchet still stands on the ground? Oh, Izzy making a crucial flub there as the ILJ chain began. But is currently going for ship to boss. Let's see if Izzy can get it.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Can
goodness.
he get it?
This is not easy, what Izzy's currently going
No
for.
way.
Oh, it's gonna be close. Oh, Izzy almost made it. Very nearly making it. So,
So close.
this
This
is like,
is the hardest ILJ in the game. Wait,
Oh my
he still
God.
has a chance.
oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, Izzy's gonna go for it again. I mean, Izzy's thinking I got a lead here. I got the chance to go for this. I didn't know that rock was solid. I gotta be honest with you. I had no idea. Did you know that, Sippy?
I did actually, yeah.
Huh. Well, you know. I guess we can't all be giga-brained giga chads.
No way!
Izzy
he actually
gets
made
it.
ladies and gentlemen. He made it from the ship to the boss, the hardest ILJ in the entire game, and he pulls it off in the tourney.
Yeah, that is crazy. That's so sick. The confidence to be able to do that, especially after messing it up once or twice. So like this is infinite long jumps. They are not easy, and most runners will tell you that the best infinite long jumps that they do are at the very beginning of their session. So the more you have to do, the longer it goes on, the more exhausted your hands get. So to be able to recover and get that off after failing it once or twice, I mean that shows a lot of chutzpah. That's a lot of fortitude right there.
Absolutely, your hands get very tired very quickly doing ILJs. I'm speaking from experience. Every Ratchet runner will know that.
That's the Ratchet 1 tax. Like you have to deal with the not the tinnitus, the tendinitis. You got to deal with the tendinitis of practicing infinite long jumps. Izzy's bolt count over here looking pretty good, picking up another gold bolt along the way. Mukka is currently, this is gonna be the wall for Mukka right here. I know that Mukka's a lot more comfortable with some of the stuff later on in the game. Infinite long jumps, again, maybe not particularly his strong suit, but again, that is okay. We're only 17 minutes into the run. The run is still very, very young. So even with this deficit right now, there's plenty of chances for Mukka to make a comeback, and tons of hard stuff that both of them can mess up. So this really is still anyone's game at this point. So they both got to make sure they're still sticking to their A game here. You see Mukka dropping the ILJ a little early, but still managing to latch onto the swing shot note, which is, of course, really, really great. That's ideal. He'll still get Ghost Ratchet here. A cool property, and this is actually, you may notice, when you break several crates in a row, the more bolts that are on the ground, when you break additional crates, the bolts will snap to you. So I don't know how many of you noticed that, but the first couple sets of crates that Mukka broke, the bolts remained on the ground. But then once he broke a few more, they just immediately snapped to Ratchet. A nice little thing there. We got a cool chain going on here on Battalion. You want to take us through this, Sippy?
What chain?
Oh, just what Izzy is currently about to do here. What Izzy's setting up for.
Oh, this chain, waterfall skip?
Yeah, a waterfall skip into your baby as well.
Into your baby? I'm sorry. That's new to me. This lingo.
No. Your strat, your baby, coming up right here.
Of course, my strat. Yeah, I found this SI and it's fucking sick.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking sick. There's actually a really funny story to this. Once upon a time, Sippy was returning to this. I forget if you were returning to the game or what was happening. But this strat that you see Izzy about to set up for, Izzy needs to make sure first that he has 2,000 bolts. So he's going to have to kill a couple of extra enemies to get there. But there's a very funny story about this skip that Izzy's about to do here. So this is Battalia SI, which was discovered, of course, by Sippy. And when Sippy was returning to the game once upon a time, someone asked him straight up, "Oh, do you know how to do Battalia SI? I can teach you if you don't know." And then, of course, Sippy had to respond by saying, "Bitch, who do you think you are? I found Battalia SI." I forget who. Do you even remember who it was who was asking you? I totally don't remember.
Oh, gee, no, I have no idea.
Well, regardless, they probably felt like an idiot. At least I would have if I were in their shoes. So you can see what Izzy has to do here is a sequence. SI stands for slope intercept, for those of you who don't know. No, this is not algebra class. That's just the name that we have for it. You intercept a sloped, surface to give Ratchet enough of a grounded state to be able to do a high jump off of it. So that's exactly what Izzy did. This is a very specific SI, and it's not easy to pull off here. And it's not done yet either. Just because the SI is over, Izzy still has to glide along this rail here. And this is not easy. It's very simple to, or if you're not careful, it is very, very easy to fall off of this rail and die and just totally lose all of your time.
Mm-hmm. So this one trick not only skips buying the grind boots, it also skips going through the entire grind boot section to get to this info bot that you have to buy on Battaglia here.
Yeah.
So very, very significant time save from one trick alone.
Yeah, you can see you got to, Izzy can now fall off once the other rail is in view. You want to land on this one, and this is, you still got to be careful here. This rail is not too. Oh God. Sorry, Izzy just scared the. Ooh, I think Izzy can still make it. Izzy can still make it.
He's fine. He's fine.
Oh my
Barely.
God, that's close. That is close. Oh my God, you're playing with fire there, Izzy. Oh my Lord. But gets it done, gets out of there, and you know, just had to show. He had a stunt for the fans a little bit. Got to make sure that you're all still paying attention. Muka, or not Muka, Alamusa1 in chat says, "Why did you double jump? That just gave me 100,000 points heart attack." So the other runners, there's a lot of other people in this who are either competitors themselves in this competition, or just people who have ran this category or have been watching it for a very long time. A lot of us in the community are very aware. This is probably, I would say, one of the most... Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I'll shut up now. Sippy, can you tell me about what's currently happening on Izzy's screen?
Right. Izzy's doing a very precise clip out of bounds. Now, this setup was also found by me, and the previous setup to this was also found by me. One individual, who shall remain nameless, has been spreading the false rumors that this clip is RNG due to the sway of the tree. Now, I have proven...
This is like 4 years ago.
It's older than that. Now, I have proven that the sway has nothing to do with this clip by finding the very first setup, and now this is the new and improved setup where you can't break the crate. You jam your camera up against the crate, and then you look at Clank's back, and as soon as like the big bolt on his back is clipped through the tree texture, you jump forward, and that's the setup for this out of bounds. But it's very, very precise.
Yeah. So even with this setup that makes it easier, it's still not easy. This trick has always been incredibly precise. It's always been something that runners have struggled with. Izzy having a little bit of a tough time getting through this right now. But you know, with the set, you just gotta trust the setup. It's one of those things where it's like, what can you even do at this point? With a trick this precise, you gotta just rely on what you know how to do. So Izzy finally getting through here. And now Izzy's gonna clip back into bounds, into this pipe. And then is gonna like yeet Clank up with this little proxy right here.
Yeah, if you punch just into the boundary of this pipe, you somehow get shot straight up into the infobot for the next planet. Very convenient.
Do we have an idea why that happens?
No. I don't anyway. I mean,
yeah, maybe someone
might. Someone might, but that someone is not me.
So Izzy, of course, you know, losing a little bit of his lead, well, losing a decent chunk of the lead there that he had, but of course, you know, he had that lead to spare. He had that extra time. So you know, getting off of Orxon, these planets, this sequence of planets between Rilgar and Orxon 1, it's considered like the four killers, the four category, or the four killers of this category, back to back to back to back. So now we're gonna see a sequence of planets that are logistically much easier. So it shouldn't, you know, Izzy shouldn't be having too much trouble with any particular thing. Of course, it is still possible to die on Pokitaru. It is still possible to make mistakes. Although there is actually one little tough spot right here. Let's see what strat Izzy's gonna go for. Izzy has to find his way on over to the gold bolt, which is like way down ahead of where he is. So you're gonna see he's gonna go for the midair strat here. Let's see if he can pull it off. You gotta have really solid midairs to make this work, but unfortunately Izzy tries to go for a really ambitious midair. fails and has to try it again. Mukka nailing the tree strat. I wasn't even looking at that, but he's already done with the orcs on 1, so he must have breezed right through that.
He got second try, tree clip, saving a lot of time on Izzy there.
Yeah, there is a, I will say that there is one backup here that you may see some runners doing throughout this tournament. This is basically the hardest mid-air section in the game, I would say. Like, you have to, if you're mid-airs, there's no other spot in the game where if your mid-airs aren't super solid, then you just die straight up. I don't think. I could be wrong about that, but I think usually you have the PDA to save yourself. But Izzy getting through there.
What mid-airs are.
Yeah, Sneepyy, you want to go ahead and talk about that? I mean, you were there when they were discovered, so.
I can try. So, it turns out that in this game, as long as you're close enough to the ground, you can actually cancel one movement state into another. So you, for mid-air, we call them mid-airs, is what you do, you cancel a long jump into a side flip into another long jump. And if you remember what I said about neutral long jumps from a previous explanation, how you build up speed, basically you get 3 long jumps worth of speed build up into one neat little movement trick, and you need to pull two of those off in almost perfect succession in order to do this really big long jump here on the what's this planet? Gas bar. Now you can see Mukka attempting it. Like I said, it's very hard.
Yeah, it is very, very tricky. Mukka trying to do the strat here. This is such an ambitious strat. I love that strat, but it allows you to get an extra midder if your midders are super juicy. Yeah, oh my, that spacing is just brilliant. I love that. So, yeah, now this is also tricky, and Mukka makes it on over the platform. Izzy now setting up on Pokitaru, of course. You know, you got to hear the guy go, "Hey," as he does. There's actually a little trick that Izzy's doing here. It's called jank fish. At least that's what I call it. I forget what, or maybe jackpot fish. I forget exactly what all the cool kids call it, but that's what I've always called it, is jank fish. For whatever reason, when you hit three or more fish, I think it's actually 2 or more, but you want to get as many as you can. You want to get a bunch of fish with your wrench, and then when they all congregate at the front of the ship, you blow them all up with a bomb, and they drop hundreds of bolts. Why that works the way it does, I don't know. Maybe somebody does. Sneepyy, you got any idea?
I got nothing for you there, pal.
Yeah, we got nothing. You'll find that over and over in these games. There's a common theme of, yeah, this happens. We don't know why it happens, but it happens.
We just know that it does.
Yeah. Any questions, DM Moby? But yeah, so Izzy clearing up the little gold bolt right here. A lot of runners may not do this. There is actually a super Chad optimal strat if you're a badass called Dive Bomb, where you collect that gold bolt from within the ship fight at the very end, but I don't know who we're going to see that from. It's going to take some sort of turbo Chad to go for that. But yeah, now they're not quite synced up here, but they're both on Pokitaru, so they're both, you know, treading the same ground here. They're not that far apart from one another. I think, you know, Izzy still has a decent lead, but it is certainly still, like we said, I mean, the bridge has only gotten closer since 10 minutes ago. And you can see Mukka going for this jackpot fish setup that I was telling you about, where he's going to swing the wrench, try to hit a few of these fish, as many as he can. You don't want to do it you don't want to hit them too many times, because then they just blow up and you don't get anything. And unfortunately, he got into a bit of a sticky situation there where the fish just weren't getting hit by the wrench. You probably have to put the wrench in a very specific spot to make sure you're actually hitting the fish. But yeah, Izzy's bolt count is looking fantastic. You want to have 2,000 bolts by the end of this so you can get the thruster pack. Well, you got to have more than 2,000, but you got to have at least 2,000 just to even continue. I think we may. I don't know if we're gonna see anybody going for the new ship fight. What are you thinking, Sippy? You think we're gonna see it? We're gonna see people trying it out? I hope so, personally.
I hope so. Yeah. I personally, I always hope that people always bust out the ballsiest strats.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that, as you personally know.
Yeah, Sippy.
But only time will tell.
Does not shy away from that sort of stuff. In fact, the very first event we ever put on together was the 2016. Was it in 2016? Was it really that long ago?
Yeah, I think so. It was the 2016 first ever Ratchet Relay.
Oh my goodness! And Sippy,
where I actually did the dive bomb.
Sippy went for dive bomb. Record. He got world record in the race. It was so dope. That was a shining moment in Ratchet history. Playing scared makes no money, says Falgan. Perhaps the most insightful thing I've ever seen Falgan type in this chat, and I agree, frankly.
Spitting facts.
So let's see. It seems like Izzy is going for the standard strat on this fight, which is totally fine. The faster strat, it saves a little bit of time. But it is very, very difficult to pull off. So, like I said, you're probably not going to... Realistically, you're only going to see the higher-level runners do that. You'll definitely see Onetabloid going for it, I would imagine, as the front runner of all gold bolts in this tournament. But only time will tell if maybe people will incorporate that strat as the week progresses or as the couple weeks progresses. For those of you who don't know how the structure is going to work of this, we're asking the runners to kind of schedule their own matches. We've got... time slots available the next couple of weeks, but obviously, people have obligations. People can't, they got things to do other than just speedrunning. So we're making sure that people have a chance to sync up their own times, their own matches. We got a match tomorrow between, I believe it's Scottobozo versus, who's he facing? Tabloid? Yeah, I think it's Onetabloid. So we're going to have the two of them going at it. So that's going to be a really crazy match to watch for sure as well. I mean, they're all going to be great. These runners, all 5 of these runners have been working very, very hard to making sure they have the best possible times. I also do want to take a second to address this while Izzy's handling some stuff on O2, or Orcs on 2 rather. That you may notice there's a bit of a disparity between the lengths of the categories. You may be saying, well, all gold bolts is like an hour long, and we got size matters, all 5 titanium bolts, which is 5 minutes. Unfortunately, we had to make some last-minute changes. We were originally going to do a longer category. We were going to do a going mobile category, which would have been 15 to 20 minutes to round it out in a pretty even way. Unfortunately, there were some emulator issues that people were having, so we had to change things at the last minute. But all the runners have been very flexible. They've been really putting in a lot of hard work to make sure that they were tournament ready for all their categories. So you see Izzy going for this little out of bounds here, trying to get this gold bolt. Let's see if Izzy picked up enough height, and Izzy, of course, did. This whole planet is pretty sick, and there's a lot of chains of movement that are going to be really dope to see. Sippy, you think we're going to start seeing any communist O2s here? Are we going to see any communism?
I think we will. I think we will. Yes, we might reestablish the USSR by accident on O2 here.
It doesn't seem as if Izzy's going to go for it. We may have to. I don't want to spoil. Oh. Izzy's going to have to go for a little bit of communism.
He might have to go for it.
I think he's forced to do communism. Oh my god, he's
socialism.
Oh my god. That was crazy. So, of course, what we're talking about here, I forget.
It should be obvious, but in case you don't know.
Yeah, it should be obvious. I forget which one is socialism and which one is communism, but what Izzy is doing here, yes, you can actually get a jump off of the goop, the green goop on the bottom. That's a trick called tiptoes. And the way that works, you have to be neutral on the analog stick as you're floating down to it. So you can see it's a little tricky. It's a little tough for some runners, but yeah, here we got the Orcs on 2 infobot. Sippy, do you want to tell us the fabled story of what makes this infobot so particularly annoying? Or perhaps what that infobot is preventing.
I'm not sure what you mean there.
Oh, I was talking about the Legend of Pokey Skip and how we're never gonna find it because this infobot is the worst.
Oh, right, indeed. Yes, the Legend of Pokeskip. So, this particular infobot on O2 is unlike any other infobot in the entire game. This is the only infobot where you have to chase it between 6 different locations all around the map. And, you cannot just go to the end and expect the infobot to be there. You actually have to hit those 6 locations before you can get this infobot. And it turns out that you can actually almost hit all 6 of the locations as Clank. Now, the implications of that would be huge if it would be possible, and if it would be faster even. Because if you can do this whole planet as Clank, then you never even have to go to Pokitaru as Ratchet, because you get the O2 mask in order to be able to do this planet as Ratchet. And you wouldn't even need to go to Gaspar, because the only reason you go to Gaspar is to get the pilot's helmet. And the only place you use that is on Pokitaru to get the O2 helmet.
Yeah, so realistically, if it were possible, we would be skipping this revisit, but unfortunately we can't, so we have to go back to it. Izzy, of course, clearing all the rest of that with relative ease, and is now doing infinite side flips here on Hoven. And is so, oh my goodness. Infinite side flips are so nuts. They're done in the same way that infinite long jumps are, though they're done with the thruster pack. So you can just continue to side flip over and over and over on certain surfaces. Of course, this ice water being one of them. Lands in the turret and is now doing this turret fight. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Nope, now that I've said it, it's not going to work. Hold on.
Of course.
All right, I'm in agony. Anyway, so we're doing this fight. Izzy's got to make sure that he's constantly balancing where he's shooting on the ship with his own health bar. Otherwise, these helicopters can rip him to shreds. But it seems as if he's going to get through this without too much trouble. Taking care of the middle section right now, and then the last section should fall within a couple of shots here.
There's a really quick way to do this turret fight. It turns out that there are specific really tiny spots on each of the 5 turret sections where that particular section takes more damage if you hit that tiny spot.
Yeah. So Izzy trying to aim for all the weak points. They are very specific. High-level runners usually don't mess up the locations, although I shouldn't say that because it's a little rude, considering that sometimes it just feels completely random. At least that's what I've heard from the testimony of both myself and other runners who have tried this out. Mukka not quite hitting the movement chain here, so has to do a high jump backup here on this plant. And this is honestly, this is the like, if I had to put together Ratchet 1 all gold bolts into a thesis, into like a statement, like you know, one little elevator pitch. It's that this category is easy until something goes wrong. If you are just looking at a high-level run where there's no major mistakes happening, it looks like the easiest category in the entire world. The instant that one little thing goes wrong, you have to know at least a billion backups. Because you never know exactly what you're going to need for what situation until you're just in it. And the only way you can really learn that is just by screwing up a bunch and just playing the category for a long time.
Exactly, just trial and error.
Yeah. So Izzy doing a cool little out of bounds here to death abuse and get back to his ship. And I believe is totally done with this planet. Mukka, of course, just catching up here. Going for, I believe, the cool kid strat, which is to do this gold bolt first.
Oh, do you think he's gonna do the cineflips?
I think he is. I think at this point, Mukka's kind of feeling maybe the time pressure a little bit, being like, all right, I got to make up some time somewhere. Gonna death abuse off of these little yetis right here. Black Market Hoven, as it's known, yeah. And meanwhile, we got Izzy here coming up on Gemlik. For some reason, I wanted to say Gremlock, but I forgot that's like the old school meme that we used to have.
The Vortex
the Vortex meme. Not going for the super optimal movement chain that involves a lot of really precise mid-airs, but that movement chain is also very difficult, so I think this is perfectly reasonable to go for. Izzy, being the person in the lead, has the luxury of kind of just tackling strats as he wants. Like, essentially, the idea when you're ahead is to not necessarily save a bunch of time, but to make sure that you're not really losing time. That's what you want to make sure that you're doing, you know?
Remember, Mukka is not actually as behind as he seems, because he actually did all of Blarg in one go. It'll even out later in the game.
Yeah. So, it's still tough to say exactly how far ahead. It's pretty clear that Izzy's ahead. It's hard to say exactly how far ahead at this point. But I guess we'll see. Izzy trying to get the cutscene for the end of the fight sequence. Oh, actually,
Mukka tried but failed.
Tried but failed,
Go
unfortunately.
for the optimal strat. That's okay.
Yeah, Izzy trying to set up a mid-air sequence there. Couldn't quite get the speed that he was looking for here. But it's all going to be okay. He's going to get the strat regardless with a few well-timed tiptoes. He's going to grab the gold bolt from out here. So, yeah, it's looking pretty solid right now. This is really the idea behind Gemlik is that you just don't want to be screwing anything up for too long. If you can avoid that, it's the mistakes you make in Gemlik are very, very punishing. So, Mukka here trying to get the out of bounds, just that he can end the level and get to Gemlik himself.
Now, Altanas, this is where the run can take a really drastic turn.
Yeah. So
is he possibly gonna go for beam jump?
that is the question. So first and foremost, Izzy's got to make sure that he's got 3,000 bolts before the end of this planet. So he's got 2,200 right now. He's going to use those 2,000 to buy the Quar 2 infobot. Is not going to go for Magna Walk. Magna Walk is a strat that is done at the high levels of this game where you walk on the Magna Boot strip and you use that momentum from the Magna Boot strip to magnet boot up a wall and get to the guy that you need to get to super fast. Instead, electing to take the safe strat, maybe is not too particularly comfortable with the optimal strat. Regardless, is going to pick up some bolts right here on these crates, which is always nice. There's a ton of bolts right there. And by the end of this path is going to get the PDA. Now, the PDA is going to be crucial for the end of the game. It's absolutely necessary.
For sure, once you get the PDA, you have access to a lot of the New Game Plus tech in this game. It also makes the game a lot safer because you're able to perform infinite jumps with the PDA, so if you ever mess up, screw up anywhere, you can save yourself from certain doom with a couple well-placed infinite jumps.
Yeah, so essentially... Ooh, Izzy taking a brutal death there. That's going to lose a decent chunk of time. Probably still ahead. Only time will tell at this point. But that is not the kind of death that you want to be having at this particular spot. Again, though, bear in mind that in these sorts of situations where there is pressure and money on the line, you are going to make more mistakes than you normally would. And it's not going to be a question of if you're going to make mistakes. It's going to be about what mistakes you are inevitably going to make and how you're going to recover from that. So Izzy trying again over here, landing the jump that time. Mukka unfortunately messing up the midair chain a little bit. It landed sourly on a tiptoe there. But is pulling all the way back here to make sure he's got as much speed as humanly possible. I love this. This is great. And is going to try again on this tiptoe here. Nakes it that time. And it gets beyond the invisible wall so it doesn't accidentally get clipped back through. Which is another tragic way. Done. Yeah, very well done there. And Izzy just clearing up the stuff over here. This is a really tricky spot in the run if you don't know exactly how you're supposed to be moving here. Izzy's...
Yeah, if you look, he's getting barraged by pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And you're on slippery ice at the same time. Considering the fact that you also don't really have any weapons at this point, you need very good movement to maneuver this area and not get killed.
Yeah, bear in mind that they still literally are only using 2 items. They're the bomb glove and the swing shot, and that is it. That has been all they've been using the entire game. And there's only going to be 2 other things they're going to get. They're getting one of them Izzy's getting one of them in like 30 seconds here, less than that. But there's only one other item they get in the entire run, and that's all it takes to beat this game, which is kind of insane.
4 items.
4 items, and that's it. Could you imagine when you were a kid that somebody told you, oh yeah, you could beat this game in like, an hour and change with only 4 items?
Mucka pulling off the Magnawalk first try.
First
See,
try
that's what it looks
Magnawalk.
like.
That's beautiful. And this is what Mucka has to be doing. I mean, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see the person who is behind going for the riskier stuff. You just have to do it. Will Mucka go for Magna? Oh, well, I don't know. That would require him to go for beam jump. We'll see if he's been maybe keeping that in the pipes. No, unfortunately, no beam jump today. We may see that out of 1 or 2 runners, but
I'm hoping that someone will show it up at some point.
yeah, that'd make for great content for sure. But beam jump is probably considered one of the hardest tricks in the entire game. But it saves a boatload of time because you go from the very beginning platform all the way to the PDA section. So you skip this entire chunk that Mucka's currently doing.
Mucka has a big chance to catch up a lot of time on Izzy here by just doing this section without dying.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Izzy clearing up, getting the last gold bolt that he needs. Actually, no, he's about to get to the last gold bolt right now. There's quite a few gold bolts here on Old Tanis. I think there's 4.
There is 4.
So Izzy's collected 3 of them, going for the 4th one right now. And actually, as a matter of fact, as a fun bit of information for all of you, for all the fans of the category, the RaC 1 diehards came together into a brain trust and decided to make a series of tier lists ranking all the gold bolts, which was quite a funny list to watch.
Oh no! Disaster struck Mucka as well in the same exact spot
That
where
is
Izzy died.
tough. That is very, very tough. So Mucka will not be saving that time. Although, there's still run left to go.
Absolutely.
Izzy has a lead, but it by no means is it safe at all.
Izzy still has to go back to Blarg.
Yep, Izzy still has to go back to Blarg. There's also plenty of stuff that can be messed up later on in the run, even with the PDA. The difference between solid movement and slow movement can sometimes add up to like 20 or 30 seconds per planet. So there is space for Mucka to pull ahead here. And even if bear in mind this is still only the first game. There's still potentially 2 more games after this. So this race is not over by any stretch of the imagination. So Mucka gets up to the platform, has a chance at redemption, looking pretty much exactly the way that Izzy's did. Getting through this now. Izzy now going back to, I believe, should be tackling, doing revisit stuff now. So is on Novalis 2, will eventually also be going back to Blarg 2 soon after. So we'll have a very clear idea of how far ahead Izzy is at that point. Izzy not going for any fancy movement change, just getting the out of bounds and swimming through.
Literally, there's just a hole there.
Yeah. Actually, a funny story about... There's a couple funny stories about this specific gold bolt cave. So the first funny story is that we used to decoy clip through this.
Yeah, we did.
And the decoy clip was very, very precise, and only one person could do it consistently. It was Prince Vortex. And he would try to tell us all how easy it is, but it was just so stupid. It was such a dumb clip. And it would work until you didn't want it to, and blah blah blah. Basically, what I'm saying is that Vortex is a chump. No, I've got a lot of love for Vortex.
We love Vortex.
Yeah,
Vortex
we
is
do.
a legend.
He is. He's an old school legend of the game. You can't diss on old school legends like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if their times are outdated, their legacy still stands.
Absolutely.
So Izzy here now backtracking through the very, very... Oh, God. Oh, no! That is brutal. Mucka mistimes his jumps at the very, very end of this Ultanis Magna Walk section. Or Magnet Rail section.
Is painful to watch.
That is really... That is... Well, it's safe to say at this point that it's Izzy's race to lose. Obviously Izzy still has to perform, still has to execute. But at this point, it's going to be very difficult for Mucka to catch up.
As someone who's done that myself on numerous runs, I feel his pain right now.
That is not uncommon. I feel like it happens to everybody at least once.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a trial of passage for any AGB runner.
Yeah.
To mess up that at least once.
And if you're feeling rough from Mucka right here, it's important to keep in mind that first and foremost, we still have 2 other games left to play we still have another game to play left regardless. Mucka can obviously You know, maybe at this point there's a mental strategy that can go into this, you know, where it's like, all right, well, the odds of me winning this one are pretty low. Let me just try to, like, you know, take a second, calm down, try some ballsy stuff, see how I'm feeling. You know, however these runners want to do it. It's a, you know, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon to win these matches. So, you know, Mucka at this point getting through here, getting the PDA, nearly slipping through that little crack right there. Izzy, of course, clearing.
My heart again skipped the beat.
Yeah,
right there.
I'm not gonna lie, I skipped a beat as well. But also bear in mind that even if it is still very important to win your matches, but even if you lose, there's no direct penalty for losing, although top 2 will be taken into the final round. So you want to make sure that even you can still, you know, if you're winning one or if you're losing 1 set, but you still win all your other games, you're still in a pretty good position to win or to make it to the final 2. So, you know, regardless of what happens here, regardless of who ends up winning this set, both of these runners are still very much in the thick of things. You know, you don't want to be going down a set this early on, but it's still doable regardless. So Izzy clearing up Blarg 2 now, just getting this bolt. I think this is the only bolt he needed to grab.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, there is no upcoming tournament for Up Your Arsenal for the fans of that game. I know a lot of you are probably keen on seeing more OG Trilogy stuff, but this is why we wanted to make sure we had a balance. Because there's a lot of you who have never seen runs of Tools of Destruction or Size Matters. So, you know, we get you in here with categories that you love, like all gold bolts, and then we get you to stick around with how dope the other categories are.
I want to ask you something, Zem, about the run.
Sure.
I personally haven't ran this category competitively since like 2016, but what do you think? Are we looking at any potential PBs here?
I personally haven't ran this competitively in a while myself, so I don't have too much of a better perspective on this. Although it seems like Izzy's moving pretty well. I forget exactly what Izzy's PB is here. Let me try to pull that up. I'll pull up the stats, see what we're looking at here. So according to speedrun.com, Izzy's PB is currently, let me see if I can find this. Izzy's PB is currently a 1:12:38. I believe Izzy is on PB pace. If I had to guess, I could be wrong about that. Muckemannen, his PB is currently a 1:15. So again, these runners were pretty evenly matched going into this game, but when you're at the level where you know, I'd say they're at they're nearing the mid level of this game now, which is like, you know, around the hour mark is you know, hour to hour 10 is like the mid level. And when you're approaching the mid-level, there's a lot of inconsistency. And so, you know, you may be watching this now and be like, oh, well, yeah, like, Izzy, you know, you can make a whole bunch of judgments, but realistically what it comes down to is that, like, you could probably you could probably run this in like a simulation 10,000 times, and these two would be pretty evenly matched. You know, it's just a matter of, like, this is one sample size. So, sometimes it looks a little ugly. Depending on how one particular runner is doing, but we see that Mucka is actually not that far behind, really at all, as a matter of fact.
But I don't think he's done Novalis yet, has he?
Oh, has he not done Novalis too? We have a divergent path once again. Yeah, unfortunately,
I'm not sure.
I actually think you're correct.
I'm kind of zoned out.
I think you may be correct on that. I think he still has yet to do Novalis too. So, you know, again, anything could happen here. I mean, realistically, if there's spots in this game, and considering these ports, you know, there's spots where the game could just outright crash. So it's, you know, it's not over until it's over is what we're trying to say here.
And besides, Velden 2 is a very hard planet.
Velden 2 is very, very tricky. Lots of mess up there. Even Kalibo 3 has its ups and downs.
Oh, yeah. Drek's Fleet.
Fleet is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. So,
can I just explain what's going on in this fight for Izzy?
Oh yeah, if you want to go for it, by all means.
Yeah. So Izzy got Ghost Ratchet just like he did on Umbris. He swing-shotted out of some goop, which made him essentially in a zombie state. He's able to go through walls as he jumps, and that actually carries over into Clank as he's fighting in the arena here. So a good thing to do is to get Zombie Ratchet, do ILJs all the way to the end of the map where you can jump through the door, grab the gold bolt, and actually enter this arena as you still have Ghost Ratchet, and it carries over into Clank. And you can jump through the wall, do a little bit of a skip from the back of the arena back into the front. And as you can see, he still has Ghost Ratchet still, enabling him to jump all the way through the arena, all the way to the end.
Yeah, that was a very slick movement sequence right there.
For the Clank section, all you gotta do is beat up a bunch of robots.
Yeah. Yeah, there is you'll see sometimes runners are going to look down to reduce lag on this fight. This is a very, very laggy fight on this console for whatever reason. Mucka coming around the back side of this. Izzy now on Iridia, having never done Iridia previously. Well, neither of them would have done Iridia previously because they never got the coordinates. So you pick that up on Novalis too.
This is supposed to be one of the early game plans, by the way.
Yeah, you're supposed to do this like if you're playing this game casually, this is like literally the third planet that people play.
Yeah. Obviously, once you have your PDA, you're OP as hell. You can do all kinds of crazy movement tricks with the PDA, so...
And Izzy's going to set up an infinite long jump here on... or at least is going to try to set up an infinite long jump here. Elects not to go for it after messing it up a couple times and is instead going to build momentum the old-fashioned way as Mom and Pop intended. You know how it goes. But now he has to try to traverse this little gap right here. Lands the ILJ. That ILJ can be a little bit tricky. Now, if you build up the right amount of momentum, you don't have to do that ILJ at all. But I like Sneepyy. I like that we both have comically large water bottles right now. How many fluid ounces is yours?
I don't know.
Or how many liters?
I don't know how much this is in American metrics, but this is a 2 liters, 2 liter bottle.
That's 2 liters?
Yeah, I try to go for the whole thing in one day.
This man is hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
We love to hear it. But yeah, so Izzy coming around here, finishing up some Iridia stuff, doing the exterior, now going to the interior section, the swing shot course. But of course, if Izzy is doing this absolutely properly, Izzy won't need to use the swing shot at all. So going through here, accidentally landed on the rock after doing that infinite long jump sequence. So he's going to have to make up that momentum somewhere, but it's still not going to need the swing shot. You never actually truly need the swing shot for this thing. So you can see Izzy's going to come over here and do a series of infinite side flips right here to clip out of bounds and go into the gold bolt room from where he is currently. Clips through there. It's fine if he misses the platform because the PDA, you can just side flip with it over and over. Kind of caught with the tricky camera angle right there, but manages to clean it up. Gets the gold bolt.
I noticed a lot of people flexing their hydration in chat. Shoutouts to all the hydrators. Keep it coming. Keep that water flowing.
Yeah, keep it. Everybody's got to make sure, especially nowadays, if you live in the northern hemisphere, it's been very, very hot this summer. You got to make sure you're staying hydrated. It's very important. That way you avoid heat strokes. That's the one thing you do not want.
You don't want that.
You really, really don't. Izzy here on the third to last planet, I believe. I don't remember seeing any Kalibo 3, although maybe I blacked out. But it's here on Drex Fleet. This is probably one of the dopest looking movement chains to get to a gold bolt I've ever seen.
It's also one of the hardest.
It is very, very difficult. So Izzy is going to attempt to keep his momentum right here. Unfortunately, doesn't get the clip under the level.
Overshot it just a little bit.
Just a little tiny bit. You'll see here what we mean. Overshoots it a little bit once again. He's gonna try to just go for the basic strat here.
There's a little lip you can land on right under like the top of the ship, and you use that to get out of bounds and just infinite jump all the way to the gold bolt room.
Yeah.
It skips you having to do all the underwater tunnel sections, and you don't even have the hydro pack at this point.
Oh,
Nor
man.
do you have the decoy clip.
Oh, Izzy accidentally gets electrocuted. That is rough.
Oh, that and electric water is very hard to avoid from out of bounds. You have a very little... You don't have much reference points to where the water actually is. the textures don't really like to load when you're out of bounds and doing crazy things. So that is very hard to avoid, very unfortunate.
Yeah, that
for
is
Izzy.
very unfortunate. Trying again here, though, with the momentum strat. See if he can make it work. Unfortunately, gets caught in a little invisible lip of the level, loses his momentum. We'll see if we can get around to it. All right, looks good. Re-PDAs. Oh, beautiful long jump there. A
very
lot
nice.
of momentum.
Great
Right.
second take.
Let's see if Izzy can chain this all together into a way that makes sense here. Now, the thing is, you may see these runners dropping some PDA side flips, like they try to PDA side flip and then just end up falling and gliding. It's because if you don't have your camera specifically set up in a proper way, and you're trying to do it with the D-pad, it can be a little tough. So a lot of runners usually elect to use the analog stick for that reason, so they have a bit more control over how they PDA side flip. But Izzy still manages to get back up here without too much of a hitch, and is going to electrocute off this water. The way we used to get this gold bolt, you used to need a decoy glove, and it required an extremely precise setup that I personally loved because I was very good at it, and everyone else hated because everyone else sucked at it. So,
Hey, I loved it too.
actually, yeah, Sippy and I, we both loved it. I shouldn't throw Sippy under the bus like that. We both loved it. It was everyone else. Everyone else was the problem. We were the ones who were correct. Am I the one who's out of touch? No, it's the kids who are wrong.
Everyone hated my strats, or nobody else could do them.
But yeah, so Izzy coming up here towards the end of Drek's fleet here. It's kind of interesting if you've seen NG Plus runs of this game, you'll notice that Izzy's going for a different ship. It's actually kind of interesting. You do symmetrical movement to what you normally do in New Game Plus. You want to go to the last ship in the fleet, in the armada of ships. But what Izzy wants to do here, he doesn't want to go right to the end. He still wants to collect the gold bolt. So he has to go to the second to last ship over here and then use, accidentally breaks the box, but that shouldn't really be an issue. He's going to ground pound into this little section right here and is going to attempt to go out of bounds and do some PDA movement to get to the other side, to get past this barrier.
Yeah, you can actually get squeezed in between the geometry right there if you ground pound, which can put you right out of bounds. Now, how you're supposed to do this level normally is you start off going into a teleporter right near the ship where you land, and you basically teleport from ship to ship to ship in our armada, eventually going to this ship where the infobot is. But as you saw Izzy do, you can actually get on the roof of the ship where you spawn at and do a huge chain to skip a couple of the ships in the chain in the armada.
Yeah, so I was able to finish all that very quickly without having to do any of the other stupid stuff that you would normally have to do casually or anything like that. Izzy still needs Blarg 2. Izzy, I believe, has done Blarg 2 at this point.
Yeah, he's already done Blarg 2.
Yeah, which I normally would not say if Izzy hadn't already done it, but of course, you know, I wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page so that nobody was freaking out. But yes, of course, it is not our job as commentators to assist them with their run. It is our job to simply commentate on what is happening. And of course, try to provide some insight where we can.
I had to hold my tongue a few times already because my natural instinct is to help out the homies.
Yeah, so it's tough. Like it's hard to balance that sort of thing as from a commentator standpoint, because we obviously want to see the level of this continue to escalate as the matches go on more and more. But yeah, we have to also make sure that, like, you know, of course, if anybody wants any sort of advice or commentary or things like that, we will offer that to them after the match is done. They can always analyze their own videos. There's plenty of people in the community who can help them out. Yeah, who knows? There may even be, you know, not to offer any ways to game the system. Of course, I don't know how runners are choosing to do this, but you may see in certain situations, maybe somebody will ask a competitor for help in exchange for, like, I don't know, like, I don't know what they would do, but, you know, who knows what kind of strategies are being kept under the depths is what I'm trying to say. A lot of people, I know for a fact that Scottobozo has been doing primarily the majority of his work, of his practice offline, I believe. I know he had to stream some attempts to make sure that he had the recordings to qualify. But you know, some people might be keeping some stuff in their back pocket in case they need it.
I'm gonna have to leave you alone for just a minute.
That's totally okay. I'll handle it as I can. We'll get a nice view of this dimly lit room of Sneepy's as he's going through there. Of course, now Izzy's on the fat cock room. It's called the fat cock room because there's a bunch of fat cocks, as you can see. My favorite room in the entire game, and I believe it should be everyone's favorite room in the entire game. So, yeah, Izzy clearing up here, I think, is pretty much done with Kalibo 3, and now moving on to Velden 2. Of course, is going to have to make sure at the end of this run that he actually collected all 40 gold bolts. Obviously important in a run where you have to collect all the gold bolts to actually collect all the gold bolts. This is very insightful commentary. This is why they pay me the big bucks. So, Izzy, first and foremost, is very over-bolted, but that's not really a problem. Izzy's going to just make sure that he has the Pyrocitor. This is the last thing that he needs to buy. And is going to attempt a movement chain here to get to where he needs to go. This is actually PB pace for Izzy. This is very easily PB pace. As a matter of fact, I think, you know, like, going into this, usually it takes runners like 4-ish minutes, 4, maybe even 5 if they do it particularly slowly to do Velden 2. And Izzy has 7 minutes on his PB as of the time of landing on this planet, maybe even more than that. So Izzy is definitely on PB pace here. This could be a very solid run. Mukka, might actually still, I don't know particularly if this is going to be PB pace for Mukka, but it's still playing very close to his level, which is kind of where you want to be. You want to make sure you're playing consistently toward your PB level, so that ideally you get like one of these breakout performances like Izzy's having, and ideally save some time on the competition. There's also something to be said for how you organize your matches. I wonder as well if, you know, maybe there was maybe these two organized, it was just like these two were just available at the same time, so it just worked out. Or maybe they thought, you know, like, both of these competitors know they're not particularly high ranked in RaC 1 in comparison to the rest of the competition. So maybe they say, hey, you know, we're both pretty... you know, we both got relatively slow times. Maybe we can both test the waters against each other. Maybe this is like a way for both of them to get a little bit of a warm-up for their later matches. But again, so Izzy's finishing up here, grabbing the last couple gold bolts that he needs. And Mukka is clearing up some fleet stuff right here. Realistically, the only thing that's going to stop is, I mean, Izzy's got a beeline to the end here, to a W in this first chunk of the set. Only real way that Izzy could possibly throw this at this point, I don't even know what it would take. It would take a gruesome series of events. So, Izzy, at this point, we just got to tap it in. That's what we say around these parts. We tap it in. It's tap it in time.
It'd have to take a couple deaths at RaC at least.
Yeah, I would say so. So yeah, this is, I believe, the last gold bolt that Izzy has to collect.
Let's hope that the counter doesn't say 39 at the end of the game.
Yeah, that is maybe the worst thing that could ever happen in a run like this, is to be like, just to not know where you screwed up or where you missed one, or because especially here, if you miss a gold bolt, you have to get it, or like you have to, you know, if you're ahead and you are missing one, you have to get it, otherwise you just lose, right? So you got to go back at that point. So it's important to make sure you collected all of them. Is he trying to avoid the Drex spawn right here? It's a little far out of the, here, but is making his way on over. Way to make the runners shit a little. Hey, you got to make sure the runners are, you know, we got to make sure they feel alive here. The nerves make you feel alive, you know?
We'll make sure they're paying attention as much as us, right?
Yeah, exactly. We can't pay attention to everything they're doing here, so. And now Mukka as well, heading, I believe, to Kalibo 3. So still finishing up things here. And at this point, you know, if Izzy is to win this particular match right here, Mukka has the option if he wants. If he wants to finish it out, we will, of course, give him that time to do it. In case he wants that extra little bit of practice, it's up to him. Or if he just wants to get into the flow of the next game immediately, that's fine too. So Izzy here coming up to the final fight. Of course, this is not New Game Plus, so the Destroyer is down. You have to actually fight Drek. But it shouldn't really be too hard to one cycle here because you have the luxury of the timer not starting until you send Drek to past his first gate. So Izzy using the Pyrocitor to damage Drek on every possible frame, sending him over to the buttons. The idea is to rush down Drek as he's going from button to button, and ideally you immediately nuke his health bar as he's moving. So losing a little bit of time there, but it's going to be fine. Not going to be able to close out a sub 110 here, but Izzy is... Oh, it's going to be so close. Whoa, what's happening? What the heck? What the heck?
Was that an insta-skip?
What? What just happened?
I've never seen that in my life.
And Izzy with a
That is a PB for Izzy.
With a 110.08 is the winner of the first round. Has 40 out of 40
I'm
bolts.
glad that happened in the marathon.
Yeah, that is wild, Izzy. That is
That
very
was strange.
That's very, very strange. Oh, PB's 105. Oh, okay. Well then people hey,
He's 105, I didn't PB.
all right. Well, you know what? I take no responsibility for this. I was just looking at speedrun.com. Maybe if these runners wanted me to get the info correctly, they would have uploaded their PBs, Izzy. I am, of course, not. I'm not actually being serious. I'm one of the.
I did upload it. It's taking some time to verify.
Oh, so it's the moderator's fault.
It's the mods. Come on, mods.
All right, so we have to personally find Franzcore, Yo, Andy, Jishkared, Persona, and Deltadoid and string all of them up by their toenails. It's verified? Wait, what? How is it verified? Hold on. I gotta see this. What? It got updated literally during this race.
Bruh.
This is not, no, I will not receive any any dissenting opinions. The mods do care. Well, they only care to make me look like a fool, which is fine. Hey, you know, whatever it takes to get it done. I'm not actually being serious.
I bet you they waited for this moment to verify the run just to make us look like fools.
Yeah, it's the mod team shadow cabal trying to make us all look like idiots. But congratulations, Izzy. Good job winning round one. Of course, you still have a little bit to go. Mucka just finishing up here. We're gonna leave this to be while Mucka finishes up. We can always find some commentary spots here. Going for a PDA side flip sequence to just avoid the any of the nonsense here on Velden 2 altogether.
Yeah, the SI on that particular mountain can be very temperamental, so I don't blame him at all for just PDA side flipping to victory.
Yeah. And so now, of course, you're going to have to infinite long jump over here past this mud. Dies on accident, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, so we're going to see, we're going to get the word from Mucka here once he's finished up here. Regardless of what he wants to do, whether he wants to finish it out or what have you, he'll be here in a second and just say, hey, I want to do this one next. So you can see Izzy's already pulling up Tools of Destruction because the other Size Matters is done on emulator. So while Izzy... oh, wait, I can swap audio feeds as well. So we can get a little bit of Mucka's PS3 going here.
Yes, because Izzy took the first game here, Muckemannen will be the one to decide the next game that they play.
Yeah, so looking at the...
this is a free win for Mucka. I've got no practice on this. My PB isn't error 30. This isn't good.
So Izzy picking the rare strat of telling his opponent what he's terrible at. We'll see if Mucka wants to get like maybe a bit of momentum going. Mucka will pick Todd, try to figure it out, or if he just wants to roll the dice, pick Size Matters, and then bank on hopefully winning that one. And then ideally cashing in on the Todd win afterwards. We'll see how it goes. Of course, this category, for those of you who don't know Tools of Destruction, it is a very cozy, comfy category. Although there is a lot of room for things to go disastrously wrong. which is what we strive for here on the RaC Champs. This is what we strive for in our lives, where nothing can go wrong. No hard locks, no soft locks. Onetabloid, of course, has a lot of opinions about this category, but we will not ask him any of his opinions right now because they don't matter at the moment.
They'll get their turn, but
yeah, Tab will get his chance. He'll get his chance to bitch about Tools of Destruction. It was actually very funny. A little bit of background while Mook is finishing up here. A lot of the runners were very, very upset about Tools of Destruction when they first had to start learning it. I think they've since rounded the corner for the most part, and they're all starting to see like, oh, well, the game itself isn't completely atrocious. It was, I was making some mistakes. I had a little bit to learn, so we'll see how the zeitgeist of opinions have changed. Zem breaks Tools of Destruction in 4 seconds. Yeah, I very notoriously on my first ever casual playthrough this game crashed it within 30 seconds of turning the game on. So that was pretty funny. Where's Nexus? asks Skritler. Skritler, we only pick games that people actually run. I'm just kidding. No, I think that Into the Nexus is a very, very cool speed game. It's actually, I would say, the closest in nature to the OG trilogy out of all the future games. It definitely plays the closest. It's a really cool game. It's just, we wanted to make sure that we were picking categories that everybody could get behind, and plus with the theme of the event being all screwed up, we wanted to pick special bolt categories. So, no Into the Nexus this time around, but there's always room for later. So I think I may end up forcing everybody to take a little break here once Mukka finishes up here.
No.
Oh wow.
Mukka unfortunately hit the death plane as he was IJing to the last boss.
Yeah, very unfortunate on that. You can void out super easily going to direct there. There's void out spots below you, to the left of you. I mean, mostly below is the big one to worry about, but you can really mess that up in a lot of different ways. Izzy getting a bit of dirty practice here on Todd, trying to make sure that he feels a little bit more cozy with I forget the name of this planet, but this is like one of the hardest wall bounce shock ravager sections. We'll get into that later though.
Don't worry, I'm not making it to this.
I don't want to hear that. I want to hear some confidence. That's what I want to hear, Izzy. I want to hear you believe in yourself.
I'm confident that I might not even get past Kerwan, so this is going to be an interesting one.
Okay, so Mukka has resigned in the RaC 1 section. We're going to stop the clocks now. Yeah, I think that's a respectable decision. We like to give the runners the space to do whatever they feel most comfortable doing. They are doing this out of their own goodwill. Well, not goodwill. They're also competing for money. But this is still, we want to respect their time, make sure that we accommodate them as best we can. So Mukka choosing, rather than going through the direct fight, which is pretty straightforward, chooses, all right, it's time to just boot this up. It seems like Mukka is starting to power on Tools of Destruction. I'm assuming, Mukka, that's as your loser's right is to pick whichever one you want. I'm assuming this is what you've chosen.
Yeah, I'm not going to gamble with
okay.
size matters.
That's fine.
And I think Izzy knows that way too well.
So it seems as if we're going to have potentially room for a game 3 here, perhaps. Considering that Izzy's expressed that he has a pretty profound weakness in this particular category right now. So if all goes according to how it looks on paper, this will be going to a game 3 where it'll be decided by a 5-minute category, which is kind of thrilling in a way, There's a lot of stakes riding on one speed run. But for now, before we even get to that point, we got to do Tools of Destruction. So let me pull this up. I got to see if I can do this properly.
If I may just say, very valiant effort to Muckemannen. Both runners had my were tugging at my heartstrings the entire time. Very entertaining, lots of sauce. Thank you to both runners.
Very, very well played.
For a great show.
And now I'm just gonna take a second here to put on the Todd feeds. We have actually specialized layouts for every single game.
Courtesy of Stacked Design.
Courtesy of Stacked Design. So you're going to see that fading in here in just a second here. You should see that coming up on Sneepy's. Now you're going to see it coming in on mine. And now we're all blued up.
Look at that.
We blew ourselves, and now we're ready for Todd. Here, in case you missed the stinger transition, keep your eyes on the screen, everybody.
Whoa.
That looks so dope. I love that. It looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So we are going to, I'm actually, if it's okay with everybody, I'm going to, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the race, and Sneepyy, I'm going to kind of leave you high and dry for like just a minute to kind of explain stuff. You're going to have to roll with the punches here, because I'm going to go, I need to make a sandwich real quick. It's time for the streamers to have their little lunch break, their scheduled lunch break. So we're gonna get started here in a second. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure it all looks good. All right, everything looks appropriate. We got all the information ready to go. Runners, you feeling good? You feeling ready?
Yes, I am ready for this.
Izzy, you ready?
I'm ready for revenge, man. Come on.
Yeah, I'm completely ready.
All right. Well, just to take a look, in case you all missed it at the very beginning, I also want to show off these assets a little bit more, just because they're so cool.
Oh, he loves them. We all do.
So I wanted to pull us down over here. I wanted to pull up the player cards once again, in case you all missed it the first time.
Yeah, let's take a look at those sexy player cards.
So you can see in RaC 1, the submitted times were what their PBs were as of last week. So obviously, Izzy has a 105 now. Mukka has a much better time as well. You can see we're about to head into Tools of Destruction, where Mukka has a 1 hour advantage PB wise. We'll see if maybe Izzy might want to get or might go for a PB here himself, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the lay of the landscape here is. Izzy, should this go to a game 3, Izzy does currently have the edge with Size Matters with a 20-second advantage. But anything can happen in Size Matters. Let's figure out first and foremost, though. Let's get over to the game. Let's pull that back in. Runners are ready to go. Sneepyy, if you'd like to give the countdown, let me pull up the timer. I am ready to start when you are.
All right. If both runners are ready, then we shall begin in 3, 2, 1, go! All right, off to the races we are.
Yeah, so they're loading the game right now. The game does take a second to load, especially because of the way that... Sorry, I just wanted to explain this real quick. The reason why it took so long to load is because we used... We perhaps do something that's not 100% legal or encouraged to do to remove the intro cutscene, which is normally mandatory but is allowed for our purposes. Never mind. I should say it's totally legal and cool, and is in no way going to get anybody into trouble. But it does take the game a second to catch up because of all that. Sneepyy, if you want to go ahead and talk about this, I will step out for just a second. You want to take the
reins? Sandwich, my friend.
Yes.
Sure, I'll do my best. So the cutscene removal is basically due to disparities between the American and Japanese versions of the game. I believe the Japanese version has skippable cutscenes and the American version doesn't. So to compensate for that, runners just modify their games and remove certain cutscenes from the game entirely. Now, I don't know about you guys.
I have never got this trick before.
Oh, well. Now is best time as any to nail the trick. Best of luck. I don't know about you guys, but I'm secretly thinking that Izzy's playing some mind games with Muckemannen and all of us. I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking that Izzy might secretly have a really good PB in the back that he never submitted. And all this down talk is just mind games. It would make for an interesting event.
Should I
that-
give advice?
Should that come to being?
There's no help for me now.
I'm sure it's all just downplayed to make Muckaman take his guard down a little bit. So, Tools of Destruction. As you can see, Muckaman is already on the second planet of the game, and ammo management is actually very important on this planet indeed, because not only do you have to kill certain enemies in order to progress through the level, not only do you have to blow up certain crates for bolts, you also have to kill a Leviathan with your bomb glove later on in the level, or if he hasn't done that already. I kind of zoned out, to be honest. I was watching Izzy. Yeah, I believe the Leviathan is coming up. Yeah. Okay, I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. Now, for this run, bolt management is very important because you actually need 35,000 bolts to buy one of the weapons. It makes one of the arena fights later on in the game go much quicker. Also, you need Raritanium for that very same reason, because you need to upgrade that very expensive weapon to make it even more powerful.
Attention, citizens of Kabalia. The Imperial Defense Force reports that a Lumbax has infiltrated the Star Sector. The Empire expects your full cooperation.
Izzy, unfortunately, not trying for the trick that he admittedly never got prior to this event, unfortunately. But Muck is going right ahead, guns blazing. He's already at the cum factory, already going at it with the cum gun. Using it to clip all over the place. So as you can probably tell, this gadget allows you to spawn these slime cubes, which you essentially use as mobile trampolines throughout areas of the game. And if they fall on top of you, you can use them to clip. So that's exactly what Mucka has done here, and he has went out of bounds, hit a checkpoint trigger, and died to respawn back at the top.
Did I miss the cum factory yet?
Yeah, Mucka's almost done with the cum factory.
Okay, well that's fine. As long as I get the towards the end of the cum factory, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, you just got to catch the end of the cum factory.
It seems as if Izzy is having a little bit of trouble here getting off Kirwan. Or am I wrong? Am I incorrect?
Yeah, he tried to go for the skip at the beginning, but admittedly he's never done it before prior to this tournament.
Okay. Well, hey, you know what? What matters is that he tried.
Yeah, exactly. Hats off to him for trying.
Here, hold on. Give me just a second. I gotta pull up my info here. There's some stuff I don't 100% remember about this category.
I'm not sure if I would have had the same courage in his situation.
Yeah, I gotta agree. There's a lot to be said for being a Chad, and Izzy. Both of these runners, if nothing else, are Chads.
Absolutely.
So we're here on Kortog. This is where we were before, right? I actually don't remember. I'm still so disoriented from that sandwich that I still have yet to eat. But it seems like we're here on Kortog now.
This is where we get the what's it called? The Shock Ravager.
This is the Shock Ravager, yes.
Kinky whip,
which is a very, very important item in this game. that allows us to do some
yeah.
pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, coming up soon.
Yeah, so here, Mucka's just trying to... The cool thing about Tools of Destruction, and the reason why I think it's such a really cool spectator speed game, is that it's really not terribly complicated. Like, what you see is, by and large, what you get. Like, there's some stuff that should be explained that we're going to try to make sure that you're all aware of, but, like, for the most part, it's like, oh, well, why did they do that? Well, they had to go out of bounds, so, like, you know... You know, like, why did he place a whole bunch of cum out of, like, on a ledge and then drop it on your head? You know, don't people normally not want to do that? Well, in this game, it's very important to do that. Otherwise, you can't flip out of bounds. So, here, Mucka is just going to be going through here, trying to kill all these enemies over here. I don't think you necessarily have to level up the Shock Ravager. It just happens to be the best weapon for clearing waves of enemies. I could be wrong about that. But ammo management is very, very important here. Basically what people were telling me is that the most important thing that you can do is make sure that you're constantly filled up on the ammo that you need here. And this is why the Shock Ravager is so useful.
For this planet especially, ammo management is very important because you use up all the ammo that you have in order to do all the skips on this planet. So if you mess up a little bit, you're kind of boned.
Yeah.
But as far as this trick goes, it appears to me that once you do a wall jump, you can actually store your momentum while you're whipping and just keep doing that over and over to gain height or distance, whatever you need for a given situation.
And these wall bounces are not as easy as they look. Like, these runners will make them look easy, but it's actually, like, pretty frustrating sometimes to get the exact angle that they need.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll see that especially on, what's the planet? The one that everyone always struggles with. I don't remember the name because Killer Lombax's splits say Apogee instead of the actual planet name. But to give you all an idea of how solid Mucka is at this category, he actually is second place on the leaderboards for this specific category. So he is very, very good at it. This is of the three, this is probably his strongest, and definitely a spot where he would want to take some momentum back from Izzy. Really start putting the pressure on him, tie up the score. So I think this was a very solid choice.
Just to show how tight the ammo is actually on this planet, Mucka ended up with 0 ammo after doing the jump after the gold ball.
Yeah, very, very precise ammo management. I'm going to stop eating because I just can't resist this apple.
I don't blame you, my friend. Apples are very delicious.
I love them.
Probably my favorite fruit.
What's your favorite kind of apple?
Dude, it's hard to pick. Like, sometimes I'm in the mood for a sour one, but sometimes I'm in the mood for like a really red sweet one, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I've been a Honeycrisp guy as of late. I'm huge into Honeycrisps. I don't know if you were a fan of those ones at all, Sippy.
Is that a cereal?
It sounds like a cereal, but it's not. It's like a little bit sour, a little bit sweet. It's like a nice mix of it's an apple type. Like, you know how there's like Granny Smith and, like, you know, Red Delicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm a huge Honeycrisp proponent. That's my favorite.
I don't think
brand.
I have those at my supermarkets, but it sounds like something I would definitely love to try.
Somehow I'm not surprised that America has like a bunch of freak names for a bunch of freak like genetic mutant apples. But yeah, so Mucka here on Fastoon, I believe this is. You're gonna have to forgive me if I mess up a couple of the planet names. You know, we've gotten the rundown of what's going on in this game, but we're still not 100% comfortable with the categories. We may mess up some information from time to time. But we're gonna do our best.
If anyone's played RaC 2, this is kind of like Tabora, where your ship is damaged and you need to collect some items before you can repair it again and move on to the next planet.
Yeah.
As far as my memory serves me, anyway. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty common theme for Insomniac to recycle a lot of the cooler, you know. I mean, there's only so many ideas for this sort of a game, right? Like, eventually they're gonna have to recycle a few of them. So, this is very akin to RaC 2 in that regard, but we're not complaining.
Yeah.
So Mukka here getting through, has to do this clank section now on Fast 2. Now this is a lot of people. So basically there's a trick coming up here that we've asked people, how does this work? And the general response is, I have no idea. So, or like, it's one of those, again, like one of those tricks where it's like, we know how to do it, we just don't know why it works out the way it does. But what Mukka's trying to do here is slow down time with Clank and go up that sloped rock. And Mukka's looking for a very specific time window where Clank's glide slows down. And so then what he does at that point is he tries to translate that like weird glide into upwards momentum or something. I don't really know why this works, but you're gonna see what it looks like because it's super cool. You know, Mukka will get it. This is a very finicky trick. It gives a lot of runners trouble. I mean, like we said, Mukka is second place and he's still having a little bit of a tough time getting this going. But probably not feeling too pressured by this. I mean, I think he knows that that Izzy is still on Kobalia, I believe. He's still in the cum factory, so
Yeah, indeed, still stuck in the cum.
yeah, you hate to see it. You know, we always say better to cum in the sink than. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Socrates.
Yeah, Socrates once said that, I believe. So yeah, this is just a really tricky thing, and especially when you. It's something else to bear in mind over the course of this tournament. Here you go. He finally nails it. He gets it, and for whatever reason, it allows him to glide all the way up top here. But something important to keep in mind is that it is not easy to go from one game to another. Like, people don't expect it to be that difficult, but it is very, very difficult. It's totally different worlds. Like, these are not even remotely the same game. RaC 1 and this, they're like worlds apart.
Yeah, it's almost as if you gotta like reprogram your whole mind on the fly.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally readjust. Like you're playing a completely different game, completely different tricks, everything.
Yeah.
Everything that you've prepared for prior, you have to redo. It's not easy.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, it's already hard enough, like, you know, having done trifecta runs myself, like, there's no pressure there, and it's still hard enough. Not Izzy. Mukka is taking intentional damage here because he's going to death abuse after he grabs this last ship part. But yeah, like, especially with all the pressure, the stakes of the situation, with money being on the line, being able to translate between games like that, it's challenging. So some stuff that may seem relatively easy when you're doing it in a vacuum is not going to be as simple when you have to do it after playing another game for an hour and a half.
Absolutely.
Mukka trying to go for a swing shot storage right here accidentally misspaces himself and takes a little death, but that's probably the most insignificant death he could actually get. And is heading off Fast 2 now. So I believe next is Voron. Is that the name of it? This is the auto scroller. So buckle up, everybody. I hope you're all getting nice and cozy. It's an auto scroller for us, but for them, they have to actually pay attention because they're farming a ton of bolts here, and on top of that, they have to hit 5 secret nodes, and if they miss any of them, then they do not get the gold bolt. They do the whole thing all over again, which is extremely annoying. So I'm just gonna.
I believe you get about 11,000 bolts here if you do this section optimally. So you definitely want to be paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because those bolts are really going to come in handy very soon.
It's also important to note that the reason they're collecting all these bolts is so that they can get the shard reaper. Is that what it's called? Reaper shard? Shard
Ravager, no, that's the whip. Shard Reaper, something like that. It's the shotgun.
It's the Shard Ripper. Thank you, Torpedo. I'm glad someone knows.
Yeah.
Whoever's insulting my negative cookie, insulting my bread. Are you seriously insulting wheat bread? This is like the healthiest it gets in America. Listen, all of our other bread is loaded with like 10 grams of sugar per slice. Like, you know, like this is the best it gets.
Is it also deep fried?
I put it in the toaster, but I got impatient, so I took it out of the toaster. So, Yeah, Izzy here trying to essentially just like, I imagine if I'm in Izzy's shoes and I know that I'm not very solid at this category, I'm mostly just kind of using it to, you know, there's a lot of ways you can go about what you're doing here. Like, there's a strategy perhaps of Izzy being like, okay, well, you know, like, I know I'm going to lose this, let me mentally prepare for the other one. Similar to how Mucka had a chance to prepare for this one, kind of strategize a little bit because he knew he was behind in RaC 1 at a certain point. Not trying to feed them information or tell them what to do, but, you know, it's kind of up to them how they want to, like, whatever, it's left up to the individual, really, whatever they think is the best course of action when they're doing these sorts of long sets. But, yeah.
It's interesting to think what goes on in the mind of the runners, how they get prepared for their individual runs, and maybe how they're even preparing for the next planet. Perhaps I'm sure that the last game was a little bit stressful in that regard.
Yeah. But I also just want to say real quick, since we are in the midst of an auto scroller, I want to give a little bit of information to all of you once again. We can talk about this because I know a lot of you were just joining us. You weren't here when we talked about it at the very beginning. First off, I want to say thank you all for being here. This event would not be worth a lick if we didn't have an amazing audience like you watching and supporting the cause. Make sure that you're cheering on the runners. Make sure you let them know that you're excited for them. Make sure you're rooting them on. You know, like, just because this is an event where only one person can win doesn't mean we can't all support each other as a community. But of course there can only be one winner. So if you you know, if you want to start some rallying cries for any one particular winner, we would never mind that as well. But for those of you just joining us, this is All Screwed Up, a RaC Champs event. This is a tournament. It is a round-robin tournament with 5 participants. So the 3 categories that they're going to be playing and learning and you know, racing against each other: Ratchet 1, all gold bolts. Currently you're watching Tools of Destruction, 10 gold bolts, and Size Matters, 5 titanium bolts. The prize pool is currently $1,000. That will be divided among these 5 people depending on how they place. The round robin will happen over the course of the next week or two as runners schedule their own matches. They're going to all be happening here on the stream. The 2 best scoring people out of the round robin phase will be going to the final round, where they will compete for first place, which is, at the moment, I want to say, like, whoever gets first wins like $400 or something like that. I think according to the prize pool, it is not an insignificant amount of money. If you want to support the cause, you are more than welcome to do so. We are sponsorless. This is a grassroots community endeavor. You know, so realistically, if you want to donate, all donations that will happen over the next little bit of time, while this is all going on, will be put towards the prize pool. Furthermore, if you want to buy my merch, if you type ! I think it's either merchandise or merch, it'll take you to my merch store where you can buy a set of stickers. That's my one line of merch at the moment. And proceeds from that will also be going towards the prize pool. So if you want to show a little bit of love, that's something you can do to help out. Mucka is, I'm going to cut that where that is right now because Mucka is actually on a very interesting planet here. This is, hold on, I can figure this out. Muckemannen? I don't know.
Is that where the name comes from?
Maybe that is, well, almost assuredly not, but we can always pretend that that's the case.
I certainly will.
So he's on Muckau, which is a very interesting planet. This is why he needs the Shart Ripper here. This is the planet where he actually needs to have the Shart Ripper because there is an arena. And so he's going to... Basically, I love this planet because there's just so much wacky, wild movement that you have to do all over the place. So you see Mucka doing a wall bounce and shock Ravager stuff over here. He's actually not even going to... He's going to ignore that gold bolt. Oh, my goodness. We
Going
have
all the way to the end around.
I
doing
have-
the reach around.
I have a very important announcement. We don't have alerts on this feed because we don't want to detract from the race itself, but we have a $100 donation from Dan the Enigma.
Oh,
Dan the motherfucking Enigma, the absolute homie. A streamer himself, a Yu-Gi-Oh streamer. Very chill dude. I play League of Legends with him from time to time. Great guy and showing the community a lot of love. He says, let's make that prize pool a little juicier, shall we? Well, juicier
yeah.
it has become. So thank you very much. Let me see
thanks so
some.
much.
Yeah, let's see some love in the chat for Dan the Enigma. That is so amazing of him to support the cause of helping these runners. See, there's not, not to monopolize the space of what's happening right here, but, there's not a lot of chances for people to, in this community, to really receive a lot for what they do. So much of what we do is a labor of love, and we're happy to do it. But this is a wonderful opportunity for us to show these people in this community who are putting in so much hard work that we appreciate them and give them a little bit of chance to earn something for the time they spend on it. So I'm sorry for taking that time to do that, but I just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. Sneepyy, if you'd like to go ahead and talk some more about Moo Cow and what we're looking at here.
Well, we're looking at more Shock Ravager movement storage tech. Literally, you just do a wall bounce, and somehow I think the developers forgot to reset your momentum when you do the crack of the whip, and you can just keep doing that over and over to reach places where you normally wouldn't be able to. Now, this is the arena where you need the Shard Ripper for.
Yeah.
This is why the runners have been collecting bolts and raritanium throughout the run. This just makes this whole section much quicker and much less a pain in the ass.
Yeah. A little thing here. I mean, I know that Mucka isn't quite, or I don't, the Shard Ripper isn't anywhere near there at the moment. But I do want to let you all know, because I know it happened earlier. Should a weapon ever level up in this game, this is actually something that I learned from Quest for Booty. But you can actually, there's only one way to skip the upgrade cutscene. You have to pause as the weapon upgrades and then just unpause. So if you'll notice, maybe you'll catch Izzy doing that with the Shock Ravager at some point. Maybe there's another chance where one of these weapons levels up. But Mucka's done with the first wave and is now going to fight the Froge. There be the Froge.
Careful you don't get sucked by the Froge.
Yeah, you gotta. The Froge is gonna try to give you the suck, and you just gotta make sure that you're just not getting the suck. So Mucka steps back a little bit, gets a little bit of that.
The Froge suck is very deadly.
Yeah, you gotta get the. See, he's getting bit up by the Froge now, and that was 33% of his health, but it doesn't really matter all that much. But mostly just the amount of time he's losing from getting sucked up.
By the way, the closer you are to the Froge, the more damage you do with the Shard Crapper.
Sorry, I have another big announcement coming up here if you don't mind, Sneepyy.
Go ahead, man.
Calat11 donates $200.
What?
$200 with the message, just some love for the runners and the event. Essentially, I'm not going to assume anything about Calat here, but putting the proverbial dick on the table and saying, here I am, and getting a little bit of love for this community at the same time.
My Schmeat.
Yeah, the Schmeat. That is just insane. Thank you. Oh my God, Mucka just put up a text box that said it's time. We'll get to Calat in a second here, but we got this awful planet going on here. This is easily the hardest planet in the entire run. Of the name I don't remember because once again, I can't remember anything that's not immediately in front of my face. So check out that. Look at that momentum right there. Not getting the cutscene skip, but still getting the bolt very, very quickly.
Yeah, still very, very titillating movement there by Muckemannen.
Absolutely. Not over by any means. There's still a lot more to go right here. So coming up here, we have what many would consider the worst wall bounce Shock Ravager of the entire game, let alone this category. Mucka accidentally taking one step too far, falling off the edge there. Nundak, that's what it is.
Very, very precise, this one.
Yes. Torpedo, a world record holder for the any percent category of this game, describes this wall bounce as simply smoge.
Oh, but did he get it?
Well, that'd be good enough. Not a lot of speed, but this could work.
Yeah. It might just be enough.
All right, it's looking like it's going to be good.
It'll be a little slow.
Yeah, this is a little tough right here. This is so nerve-wracking. You need to basically have perfect ammo and perfect spacing to make this happen. 7 is optimal for this, but Mucka's going to have to make it work with just 6 Shock Ravager ammo left. Puts the camera into lock strafe to avoid any fuckery. Puts on the thruster pack. All right, let's see. All right, he sticks the landing.
Just entranced. My heart is in my throat right now.
Yeah,
for Mucka.
this is like such a crazy strat. I can't even believe this exists. Taking a very specific line here, because it is not difficult to accidentally clip back into bounds, and I forget if that soft locks you, but it certainly makes. Yeah.
Oh no, he did it.
That is rough. I mean, you know, Mucka probably thanking his lucky stars that this sort of thing happened on a run where, you know, and I'm not trying to dunk on Izzy at all by saying this, but Izzy himself said that, you know, this is not his strongest game. And so, you know, the idea that maybe Mucka's feeling a little bit relieved that this sort of thing happened during this race as opposed to one where maybe the stakes would be a little bit higher. You know, you got to take away whatever mental little bits you can when you make a mistake in a tournament setting.
Yeah, like I said before, the mental aspect of such a competition is also very interesting to take into account, because you know, doing these runs under this setting can be very mentally fatiguing. So any chance that you can get a mental respite, you know, you're gonna need to take.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just important. I mean, like, so much of speedrunning already is mental. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
I think a lot of people who
I'd
don't
say
speedrun don't realize that.
Yeah, I'd say speedrunning is like 80%, 90% mental.
I kind of agree. It's like, you know, the literally the difference between whether or not you play like shit or god tier on any given day can sometimes just be how good you're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But Mucka trying again here, seeing if he can make it happen this time. Unable to get the wall bounce properly, but again, this is the hardest wall bounce to set up. We were taking a look, when we were studying this together, we were taking a look at Killa Lombax's setup, and it's just a very loose, wild setup where you just like double jump around and just like, so that's like what some people will do. Unfortunately, Mucka not having enough height, I think. Maybe he got dragged down by the death plane. I'm not 100% sure what happened there.
Killa makes this look easy.
Yeah, he really does. Oh, no ammo. Well, that'll do it, I suppose. I wasn't looking at the ammo count.
Oh, he had 3 ammo? Damn.
It really do be like that sometimes. So getting... He's got 30 ammo now. Sometimes, you know, you see the 3, you don't see there's not a 0 next to it. But,
yeah.
You know, now he's got this. And let's see. We're going to hold our breath here and just wait and see if Mucka can get this. This time getting really good height. Doesn't have to go for the extra shock ravage.
Mm-hmm. Looks like he's gonna make this one by a wide margin here.
Yeah, it's looking like it. He
just has to avoid that pipe when he's underwater now.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of those like vibe check mistakes that you make it once and you're like, okay, well, never again. You know?
Yeah.
Here he is. You can check his positioning now. He's being very careful with the way he's placing Ratchet. Going directly under the pipe this time instead of risking it. And now he has to do a very specific little thing right here where you got to go underneath and shock ravage back up. That's not as easy as it looks. You can definitely misspace that.
He's taking it safe by using
Wow.
that helipack to
Yeah, he
get up
nails it.
here instead of the thruster.
That is so sick. Oh my goodness.
There we go. That's the end of that. Very, very scary planet.
Yeah, very solid stuff coming in from Mucka, and I believe this should be coming onto the end of the run. Ardolus, you know, normally a very long planet, but here we don't need to be on Ardolus for very long. There's only one thing we have to do, and it's collect the final bolt. So this is what's going to happen right here. Time is coming up for Mucka. Fails the wall bounce, though. Let's see how he adapts to this situation. I don't know ammo management-wise where he needs to be. Izzy can still catch up. Theoretically, you know, if Mucka has like you know, explosive diarrhea right now, there is a chance that Izzy could catch up. I'm not trying to trivialize, you know, Izzy's chances here, but you know, it would take quite the miracle for Izzy to catch up at this point, because Mucka is like 30 seconds away from finishing here. Assuming he can get the wall bounce, which he's having a little bit of trouble with. Here's how we can only see a little bit of what you're typing right now, Izzy. But I can't wait to see what Izzy's saying once he can shrink the text.
You know what?
Here-
I think
Oh my goodness. Mucka ending the category with a 33-27. Although
very respectable time.
we may have to do a recount because Bernie Sanders can still win this. Congrats to Mucka on tying up the score. And we are heading to a deciding game. On our very first set, Sippy, did you think we would see a game 3?
I did not. I was not expecting to see size matters today, to be honest, but I'm very glad that I am.
Yeah. I'm going to take a second and set everything up so that we can go on to the final round. Both runners are going to start firing up their emulators. I need to stop the clock here. Reset things. So this should be working if I do that. Yeah, we're going to go. This is how dope the design of this stream is. RaC has assets that are in the color scheme and like style of every game of what we're doing here. So I'm going to throw Sneepyy into the size matters one. Now I got to throw Mucka in there. Look at that. And then finally, we'll get rid of that. We'll add that in. Beautiful. Look at that.
Let's go.
Oh, wait. And finally, I'll hit this little stinger transition right here. I love that. That looks so cool. Oh, I accidentally swapped the feeds there. That's my bad. I did not mean to do that. I had it in studio mode on accident. But yeah, sorry.
I don't know about you people, but I would go as far as to say that Muckemannen is such a Chad that even if he would get sudden explosive diarrhea, he would still finish out the run.
Mm-hmm. He really is a Chad. Those of you who don't know, to give you a bit of background, actually, I can give you a little bit. I can pull up the player cards here. Let me put us down a little bit lower. Izzy, a lot of you probably don't know Izzy super well. Izzy has been a member of this community, kind of in the shadows for a while. You know, a lot of us have known Izzy for a long time, but Izzy, you know, I'd love to learn a little bit more about Izzy. Maybe if Izzy ends up winning game 3, we can get an interview where we can learn a little bit more. Mucka, for those of you who are unaware, is a very decorated runner in the community. So the fact that it's 1-1 right now is a testament to how solid both of these runners are playing right now. Mucka is currently the world record holder for, I believe, deadlocked NG Plus and NG Plus no load cancels. I have to see what other deadlocked categories he has world record in. I think it might be all of them. I'm not 100% sure.
He is the community deadlocked Chad.
Yes, he is the Chad of deadlocked. I think pretty much anyone would say that. He has world record in 3 out of 4 main categories. The only one he does not have world record in is all exterminator cards. He also, a little fun fact, has world record in both. He has at least one world record in both Into the Nexus and All for One. Muckemannen is currently the #1 All for One runner in the world.
All for one, baby. Let's go.
A hotly contested category, or a hotly contested game. Everyone loves it. No one has anything bad to say about All for One. He also currently has world record in Into the Nexus 100%. I want to pull up a little bit of info just because, we gassed up Mukka so much. I want to get a little bit of info stat-wise just for Izzy's sake. Izzy has currently never uploaded a run for any game that is not either a category extension or Ratchet 1. So I don't know exactly how long Izzy's been running it. According to latest upload, has only been running since like the end of 2019. So these games are very, very tough to get good at. And, especially not everybody is always grinding for crazy times or crazy categories or things like that. But Izzy does have some very respectable times in Ratchet 1 and has been doing a great job thus far today.
Absolutely.
I'm going to pull away the player cards now, and let me see if I can... Ooh, I love it. Oh, I love these transitions. They're so cool.
Practicing already. All right.
Yeah, we're giving them a few minutes of their own time. Maybe I'll let them have a little bit of time. Wait, let me see here. So I press 5. Oh, God, that's so cool.
Oh, nice. Good to see both contestants already fired up, already trying to get their A game going here for Size Matters.
This is the big one.
I can't believe it's come down to the 5-minute tiebreaker here. Currently the score is 1-1. Izzy has won the RaC 1 AGB and Mukka has just won the Todd 10GB race. So now it's all come down to Size Matters 5GB, which is like a 5-minute category.
Yeah. So before we're gonna give you a little bit of info because the category moves so quickly, we're gonna hopefully give you a little bit of info to look out for right now. I do want to say, Izzy, if you're listening, I've been told by Ala Musa to tell you to remove your cursor from the screen. So we'll, that's all I wanted to say. We'll let you do that in peace for right now. We'll double check on that in a second. Sneepyy, tell us what we're looking for in this category.
We are looking for birds. First and foremost.
Bird watching, baby. We love it.
Yep. There's a really big skip in First Planet, which is also very hard, very easy to miss, but it saves a lot of time. You jump off of a bird's back to the end of the level.
Yep.
Also, in the next level after that, in level 2, we have a kind of proxy. The runners will do a high jump, and they will enter the ship at a specific time. And what that will do is, I suppose it'll store their momentum while they're going into the ship, and it'll shoot them right up into the sky, which will then allow them to hover on down to a titanium bolt and to the end of the level as well.
Mm-hmm. So, sorry, I was trying to time my apple consumption throughout Sneepy's talking, so I apologize. There's also one other little trick where they're going to... So realistically, after the gigantic ship proxy that's going to happen, they have to go into a clank section, and they have to clip using a golem. So that's also going to be something to look out for. When they're playing as clank, they have to bait a golem around in a little semicircle and hopefully use the golem to push them out of bounds. So those are the major tricks of the run, which is a lot to take into consideration when you think about the fact that it's only a 5-minute category.
Yeah.
So they got to play on their A game. This is the big decider to see who is going to win the set. The score is currently tied 1-1. I can actually... oh, you know what's going to be kind of cool? Let me drag us down here. I can pull up the bracket now. I can edit. I can do some bracket editing. Check this out. So if I go into... I'm going to try to see if I can get this. How do I do this? Runner 1. I may have to adjust this later. I'm not 100% comfortable doing all this right now. But regardless, this is what it looks like at the moment. Oh, wait a minute. I know what I'm doing here. Okay, wait. So Muckemannen.
Bracket is all hot and fresh. This is our first match of the event.
Runner 2, match 2. Let me see if this is what I'm looking for here. 1.
And
oh, yes.
Things up, I might add.
1-1. Oh, my God. I got to make sure
that.
I get match 3. 1 to 1. So this is the big decider here. We're going to see who's going to win this set here in just a second. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to come out over here. Now check this out. We're going to check out. We don't need to see the scoreboard right now. We want to see the action. Let's get this out of here.
Let's take a look at what the runners are up to.
You can see Mukka currently playing around. If you were paying attention, you would have seen the golem there. Izzy currently practicing the out of bounds section after the ship proxy.
You can use the golem, or you can use one of the bots to push you out as well.
This is the backup that you can see right here.
But it appears that the collision in this part of the game is very thin indeed, very easy to get through.
Yeah.
Very nicely done by Mukka right there.
Yeah, we got some dirty practice going on here, but that's okay because both runners are dirty practicing. Want to make sure they're both warmed up. We want to make this a high-octane, exciting match.
Hey, you got to do whatever you got to do to get that competitive edge, right?
Yeah, we normally would make fun of people for dirty practicing, but there is a lot of money in the line here. So
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, once again, I wanted to give massive shout-outs to Calat and Dan the Enigma for the massive donations, really helping to increase the size of this prize pool. Getting some money back into the community where it can.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
That means a lot for us as the guys running the tourney, but it means a lot for the community as well. So thank you so much for your generosity.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think with that we're gonna ask both of these runners to finish up their dirty practice so we can get started here for the big decider. I like this duck. That duck. I haven't even seen that, but I want to type it now. I'm gonna embarrass myself if I somehow don't have my Ricky subscription active at the moment.
Mantodia.
I'll have to. Oh, I don't know if I do. I'll have to double check that. I always cancel all my subscriptions after I. I'm just like, and fuck my friends.
Damn, love him or hate him, Viper spitting facts. Right now.
I'm being told to remind the runners that not to load their save states because or rather not to speed up the game in any way, shape, or form. I guess you have to load from a native file. Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'll rectify my mistakes by subbing to Ricky later. I always make sure I support the homies. So don't you worry. I'm not gonna toss my homies under the bus. But yeah, it looks like Mukka is good to go here. Izzy just getting ready here, taking a second. Yeah, this run is, if you've never seen Size Matters before, you're in for a treat. This run is wild. It's actually it's ridiculous.
This run puts the speed in speed run.
Mm-hmm.
High octane.
Yeah, this puts the SR in Obama in a real Ford Mustang SR.
Wait, do we have to have memory cards in or out for this? That's my question.
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
If only someone knew the answer to that.
Musa.
Yeah, Ale Musa 1 in chat, if you're here, what are we doing?
I have adjusted my save files so it doesn't pop up. That's what I have done.
Okay. So
it won't pop up like, oh, this is the icon for saving, blah blah blah.
Gotcha. So I guess
it matters because it's like 1 or 2 seconds in this short category.
That actually will matter, yeah. The question, Izzy, can you repeat the question specifically so that Musa can help you out as best as he can?
Whether we should have the memory stick inserted in the settings or not.
So is this supposed to be toggled? This setting that Izzy's hovering over. We'll see. We'll get a second. Musa is the resident Size Matters historian. He knows literally everything there is to know about Size Matters. Don't fact check me on that.
The community Size Matters Chad.
Yeah, he is the Chad of Size Matters. It doesn't matter. You won't save, says Musa. I hope that's helpful, Izzy.
In that case, I also can't load.
You can't load? Oh.
No, it would have to be if I
Okay,
Actually, never mind.
so if you,
I've got
sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I would say like you can always just enable it and then like, just like save a file from after the load thing or the autosave thing if that's what's happening. You know. I assume that's what you were doing, right,
should
Mucka?
just be the same if I just press circle here after a new game. Okay, I'm ready. That should be fine.
Okay. Are you ready as well, Mucka?
I don't know.
That's the spirit.
Yeah, that's what we
The
love to hear.
bird, man, the bird. I hate the bird.
Well,
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready as much as you can be.
okay.
Yes.
Well, you love to hear that. Runners, feel free to mute your mics up. We're gonna get cracking here in a second. I'll once I see both of them are muted, I'll ask Sippy if you want to give the countdown.
I'll let you do the honors this time, my friend.
Oh well, I appreciate that. All right. Good luck to both of you. Yeah, this is the big one. So whoever wins this one, of course, wins the whole set. And so we are going to do this. Sorry, I'm just waiting. Mucka, if you want to do me a favor and just mute your mic real quick. All right. He's muted up. Both runners are ready to go. Let's begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck to both runners.
And we're off to the races.
Yeah, missing the bird is very, very punishing. So that's what both of them are very worried about right now, I would imagine, going into this.
This is a very sudden death-esque category.
Yeah. Izzy coming out a little bit stronger out of the gate with proper loads here. I don't have game audio from either one of these runners, but maybe that'll add to the tension. We're going to have to come up with our own game audio here, Sippy. We're going to have to do what we can. And then like you just hear like random screaming. Somebody help me! So Izzy off to a great start here, getting that first titanium bolt already. Mucka a little slow to catch up here, but doing what he can, lining it up, getting it done.
The bird is always the great equalizer.
The bird is the great equalizer.
It's not a run until we get past the bird.
Yeah. So Izzy trying to traverse that little section, gets by it, picks up the second titanium bolt right here. Mucka now about to do the same sequence right over here. Yeah, and here it comes. Here's Izzy's big moment right here. We wait for the bird.
And he
nails it.
The first shot.
Oh my God! All right.
Izzy the Chad. Okay, he's in the clear. Very great start to the run.
But now
what an absolute Chad.
But now it's Mucka's turn.
And he pull it off. No pressure. Oh, the absolute Chad nails it as well. Let's fucking go. 2 first try birds.
It's just that easy.
You'll love to see it. It's just that easy. It's free. People say this is hard. Give me a break.
That is amazing. That's really, really great stuff. We got Izzy going real quick through all this stuff right here so far.
Oh yeah, looks like Izzy has been putting in the practice in SM here. However, we have another great equalizer coming up in this level, the Golem.
Yeah, so this is actually not free here. Izzy has to make sure that he's very carefully positioning Ratchet through this black space here. And the reason why that's so important is because he has to land in a very, very precise spot. So they want to check their angles constantly. They want to make sure that they are like way above the map right now, like way above
right now.
So they need a free fall for quite a while. You can see Izzy's just coming back into bounds now.
Yeah, clipping through the skybox even.
Yeah. So Izzy grabbing the 4th titanium bolt of the run already. There's only one left, but he's got to get through Golem Clip next. And that's going to be another big one. So he's going to enter this clank section here. Let's see. Let's see how this fares for IzzyBeira. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Not quite.
Looks like he's struggling a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Could this be Mukka's chance to catch up?
This is the great equalizer for a reason.
It is the great equalizer. They're almost at the same spot right now. They have been equalized right now.
Mukka decides he's not even going to go for it. He's going for the safety strat. Oh my god, Izzy's out. Let's see if Mukka can get out too.
Way. No.
Not able to clip out with the Gadgerbot. Oh, that is rough.
Oh, that was very close, it looked like.
That was very, very close. And it looks like Izzy's going to make it out of here. All Izzy's got to do is just...
second try, though.
Yeah. All Izzy's got to do at this point is just tap it in. And it's about as cookie cutter as it gets right here. The titanium bolt is as soon as he comes out of the ship here.
Don't call it yet. Izzy could get explosive diarrhea right this second.
It could always happen, dude. And that'll be
and
it.
That's it. That's the run. Sub 5. Very nicely done, Izzy.
Yeah, 456. Mukka's just gonna finish out here. Yeah, you hate to see it come down to Trix being a little finicky, but GG's to IzzyBeira. I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Very nicely done, Izzy.
Congratulations, Izzy. Very well fought. Came down to a game 3, and Mukka's gonna finish up right over here, just for good measure, just for competitive spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is time. Congratulations to both runners. I mean, obviously, I'm sure that, perhaps Mukka's wanted, he would be feeling a lot better with a W on that one, but you both put up a hell of a show. And
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see how far you both get in this tournament. And remember that just because, somebody may have a loss or somebody may have a win, the tournament is still young. There's a long way to go, and all you got to do is just focus on playing better the next time around.
Yes, both of the competitors here still have 4 more people that they individually have to battle in this tournament.
Technically 3, because they can't.
Technically 3.
They can't do themselves.
Yeah. So this is far from over.
Yeah. So, Izzy, if you would like to join us over in the commentary booth real quick, we can try to get you up here for an interview, post-win interview if you would like. It's up to you, though. You're at full discretion. Do whatever makes you most comfortable. I'm going to try to do my best to set that up in case you want to do that. Let me see. We can do it. So, Izzy, I guess I'll ask you, first off, would you like to do an interview? And then secondly, would you like to do cam or no cam?
I'm okay doing an interview, but I don't have a camera to do one with, so there's not much.
That is totally fine. We can always, I can try to figure out something here. Let me get I got to get some text edited real quick for you. Why does it say runner name? How do I fix this? Oh my God, what am I doing? I don't know anything anymore. All right, well, we are just going to have, I guess, we're just going to have it done from this scene. That's what we're going to have to do, and Rob's going to show me later. All right, so we've got Izzy on the line here. Izzy, how are you feeling after a tough battle?
Still very nervous for some reason. The nerves don't wear off, I don't think, so there'll be a couple of errors before I come down.
Yeah. Well, hey man, it's you played solid. How did you feel going into this? Did you basically, I guess, what were your expectations heading into this series? Like how did you strategize for today?
It was honestly kind of a flow chart. I think I already knew what was going to happen because Mugga he's second on Todd, so it was already beyond conclusion he was going to win that. And I've just been hard focusing on size matters for the past few days, I would say, a few weeks, maybe even. I haven't really done much of AGB, but my past experience kind of carried me through that. The unfortunate thing is, now in these next few matches, I'm probably not going to do very well, but at least I won one.
Yeah, you got on the board, man. And you know, like, RaC, I think there is something to be said, personally, for a strategy. Because the thing is, you only have to win 2 out of 3, right? Like, you don't have to actually be the best at all 3, as long as you're constantly winning 2 of them. And so, you know, like, I guess if my follow-up question, if you had to, for your later matches, where you know that people are going to be a little bit stronger at RaC 1, people are going to be a little bit stronger at size matters, what do you think, what is your focus for the next, like, week or so as you continue to progress through this tournament?
Size matters is my stronger game, but it doesn't really matter because both on AGB and Todd, I think I get beaten, so it's kind of downhill from here.
Well, you never know. I mean, obviously you've got a relatively sizable weakness with Todd, but you know, there's always the min-maxing strategy of you know, you've been whittling down that RaC 1 time. You've already gotten it down quite a lot. And you know, like, all it takes is one good run sometimes. So I wouldn't count yourself out of this just yet. But I, you know, of course, love to see you getting the dub here. Sneepyy, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Izzy?
None that I can think of. No, I do have one actually. Could you maybe tell us a little bit what was going through your mind as you was doing those races?
AGB, I was actually pretty worried. At one point, Mukka was ahead of me when I died on Ultanis. He was definitely ahead of me. People underestimate how much not revisiting on Blarg saves. So yeah, he was definitely ahead of me for a short time. So I was wrecking it then. But other than that, I was okay for AGB. SM, I was pretty confident in, and Todd. Let's be honest, I wasn't really thinking anything. I was just trying to calm down and play the game casually.
Well, Izzy, I actually do have a question for you. I was just saying before how, you know, you've always been the kind of person in the community who's been a little bit in, been a little bit out. So I guess I just kind of want to ask if there's anything about you that you would like to share with us, like about your life, about what you do, about, you know, just to help us to get to know you a little bit better, because I don't think a lot of people in this chat know you very well.
There's not an awful lot I can say, but what I would say is I would like to be more active. The problem is I've got so much going on with university, and the reason I actually entered this tournament is just because I had a little bit of time, and also it kind of goes to show when I'm playing that you don't have to be excellent at these games to join in speedrunning, so you may as well give some of them a shot, even if it's just shorter categories like I've done here with SM, or if you want to tackle longer, more difficult categories like Mukka has with AGB and Todd, then you can do whatever, just whatever you have time for. You'll probably really enjoy it.
Well, I think that's beautiful. I love that answer. And
very inspiring words.
Yeah, and I do think I will agree in so much that I think in many ways, I think something that it's also advantageous for you is that you are a bit of a dark horse in this tournament. You know, like pulling off a win over Mukka, I think many people would probably, I mean, if they don't know the times, they just know, you know, they know you, they know Mukka's legacy in the series, they would probably consider you an underdog. And, you know, moving forward, who knows what the hell is going to happen, but that's kind of great that you're kind of like carrying the spirit of people who don't run these games all the time. And it's, you know, it's really great to see you being a part of this. So, you know, it's just such a pleasure to have you here. So
thank you very much. I can't really say much more. Thank you.
Well, if you have any shout outs or anything else you'd like to say, now's your time to say it. If you have any social media that you'd want to plug, Twitch channel, I wasn't able to pull that up here, but I think it's literally just the same thing as your username generally, right? Twitch.tv/ is it Beira or Beira? How do you pronounce it?
You were pronouncing it right throughout the tournament. You had it right. So.
Okay, so IzzyBeira, go shoot Izzy a follow if you haven't already. No Twitter to speak of, but you can always follow his Twitch. I was actually just streaming earlier today while warming up. I caught a little bit of that. And so Izzy, it's such a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and good luck to you in the rest of your matches.
Thank you for having me, and I just want to say congratulations to Muka as well. He's probably going to have a better time in the tournament after this with how good he is at Told compared to the other players.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
good luck moving on.
I agree. I think we can all expect really great things from Muka. You know, it was a hard fought match, but that doesn't say anything about him. He's going to come back much stronger the next time because he's a competitor through and through. So
I second that. He put up an amazing fight throughout this matchup here. It's made for a very entertaining event thus far, and I'm sure that this L will not slow him down at all. If anything, it'll only make him want to grind more and come back stronger, I think.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much to the competitors. If you guys want to take your leave, you're more than welcome to do so. You don't gotta stick around here. You can go about your business. Oops, I meant to pull us down here. I did want to take a look at the standings, as a matter of fact, because now we got to update this. So I could have probably been doing this off the camera, but regardless, now we have a clear winner here. So I don't know how we're gonna. Oh, whoa, what did I do?
What did you do?
What did I do? I got rid of like everything.
Everything's
Oh
gone.
my god, what have I done? All right, I think I actually do have to go into studio mode to adjust this. But yeah, how are we putting this here? I guess we can just get rid of the TBDs, and then for this one, how do these columns work? Do we do it? We do it like rows, not columns, right? So we would put like. For this one, we would put 1, 2, and then for this one, where is it?
You do 2,
2, 1, yeah. I think that makes sense, right? Am I crazy? Does that work?
Makes sense to me.
We'll have to like put maybe we'll put like a little X or a check or something like that for loss or win, but it should be pretty obvious. Regardless, a really solid day of competition, I thought. I'm kind of surprised that this went to 3 games. It's always crazy to see them going the distance.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a blast so far.
I agree.
And there's only more to come.
There really is. There's only more to come. Also, so tomorrow we actually have another matchup for those of you who are excited for more tournament action. We've got Scottobozo versus Onetabloid, I believe. Let me double check to make sure that's the actual one. Yes, Scottobozo versus Onetabloid tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be a crazy matchup. 2 very, very solid runners. Definitely, I would say 2 of them are definitely in contention for being like tournament favorites. So that'll be a slugfest of a match. I can't wait to see that one. And also,
the Clash of the Titans almost for this tournament.
It really is. There's some really sick storylines to be following here. We got the comeback kid IzzyBeira. We got we can see if Muka can close out the rest of his matches with wins. The fact of the matter is game count might still end up mattering if there's ties. We'll have to find ways to break ties in the event of a tie. So we'll have to figure out how that goes. But yeah, and also, by the way, for those of you wondering, the 2 of us, we've been doing commentary here today. You'll probably see us again, but we're also going to try to get a diversity of other commentators in here, going to get more people to talk about the games, show you how great this community is. So just to let you all know what you're in for. Sneepyy, it's been a pleasure to have you here today, man.
Likewise, my friend.
Yeah, it's for us, this is like getting the band back together. We're just very happy to be able to do this.
You know what, man? Now that you say that, I missed this.
It's dope, man.
I really missed this.
It's like there's so much joy that you can find in doing something. There's a totally different joy you get out of creating something.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you unaware, like basically, you know, we've had a team of people working on this. You know, it's us two as well as Marathon Man, Yo Andy, Stack Design have all been vital members of the team planning this together, the RaC Champs team.
Absolutely. Could
And-
not have done this without them.
Yeah, really could not have. It would have been impossible otherwise. But you know, Sneepyy, of course, I just really appreciate you hearing me out in tackling this project all those months ago. It's coming together.
It's been my pleasure through and through. You know, we always make magic happen together, and it's always a pleasure.
Hell yeah, we do.
It just takes me back to that to the first Ratchet Relay, man.
Yeah, well,
Thankfully, a pizza didn't kill me this time.
the tournament's not over yet, Sneepyy.
Yeah, it might happen yet. In fact, you know they sell the same brand of pizza that killed me last time just down the road. I might tempt fate.
You probably should. That'd be really funny. It could be like your comeback story. But for now, Sneepyy, I think we're gonna. I'm gonna probably head out, bid my farewells, and go tend to my own stream business. But,
Indeed, I shall do the same.
But yeah, man, hope you have a good rest of your day. It was so much fun. Oh man, this is so great.
It's so great.
But yeah, I hope you'll all turn out tomorrow. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna keep streaming now. If you want to stick around here and chill sack and call me a fucking weenie, you can do that. And aside from that, Sneepyy, I will talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, man. I'll see you back here tomorrow for the next round in this so far fire tournament.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, to everybody that I'm about to leave in this call, which is literally just Sneepyy and Nick, I'll talk to you boys later.
Adios, everybody.
Peace.